make a single like comp class, rank play class. It's a good start. I mean, what's meta? ACR, probably compensator, rapid fire, red dot, fast mag, quick draw. I don't know. I probably just trolled the shit out of this class setup, but hopefully it works. I don't know. It's just bronze, right? It's just bronze after all. It's just bronze. I should have warmed up. I should have played like one warm up or something. Fucking spider bot. There's nothing I can do. I'm just dead. But Decoy, you're using a spider bot. Yeah, because I hate myself. Let's go. Oh my God, we're having a spider up. We're having a spider. Shoot it. Teammate, you piece of shit. Come on, throw. Throw. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Wait. Free kill. Free kill. Easy. Oh my God. No. No. Ah! No, I almost got him too. The spider bot is it's just so stupid. I always see people talking like, Decoy, stop complaining about the spider bot. It's not even that OP. I'm going to complain as long as it tilts me, as long as it triggers me. Whenever a spider bot jumps on me, I feel it deep in my loins. Dude got caught with his pants down, throwing his balls. Hey, I mean, that was a pretty easy first round. So this is one of the many issues that I've been hearing people say when it comes to rank play. As you can see, just from the first round alone, 2 of the people in the enemy team ended up just backing out, quitting the game. They gave up. And there's literally no way that they can win right now. Unless they pull out some magical optic scumper, the penis pumper juice and just chug away at it. They're done. It's game over. It's G freaking G. Brother mans are absolutely cooked. But it's just one of the joys of solo queuing right now in rank play. Which for those of you who don't know, you're allowed to actually stack up as like a party in rank play up until I think diamond. And then once you hit diamond, you're not allowed to stack anymore, because at that point, you know, hopefully everybody knows how to play. Hopefully your teammates don't leave you anymore. But these earlier levels, you know, stack away. And that's kind of probably what you're going to have to do, even if you're kind of a solo player. I'm more of a solo player personally, especially when I'm recording. I don't really record with other people. But even me, myself personally, brother man, I'm going to keep it a buck. I'll probably be partying up with people when I'm done recording. I'm bronze right now. You guys are going to come back. Episode 2, part 2 of my road to top 500. That's not what I'm doing, by the way. I'm just joking. Hey, there we go. Free win. Easy W. Something else I forgot that I got to keep in mind is you also can't die while you win, because if you die while winning, you get 0 RP, I think is how it works. Rank play is not perfect. It works. It's not perfect. So how much RP do I get? That's my first rank play game ever. We won it in pretty reasonable fashion, and I got 62. Okay. But yeah, just looking online when it comes to rank play for XDEFIANT, everything I'm seeing is just people complaining that their teammates are leaving, or there's a lot of people complaining about disconnecting, some Charlie error. I mean, currently it's just a battle of perseverance. If you were able to push through it mentally, fight the good fight, you can climb your ranks. But I'm not gonna lie, solo queuing is probably not the best way to do it. As the old passage goes, what's better than causing just yourself to suffer? Causing others to suffer. Actually, I don't think that's a passage. That might just be, honestly, just scrap that. I don't know why the fuck I said that. Sounds like some psychotic type shit. I'm normal, I promise. So why did it start a game? Why did it start a game if we didn't have 4 people? No. Okay, I understand people rage quitting. Why did it start before I had a team? The fuck is this? All right, time to lock in. Line of G Fuel. Woo! I'm about to be more coked up than the Easter Bunny. Let's go, brother man. All right, flashbang up and over. I'm gonna get some high ground on these MFers. Boom, he's gone. He's gone. Spider bot on this guy. Behind him. He's gone. That's a 3-piece for Decoy. Sliding out. Capping the point. Where's my team? Wake up, Junior. Holy shit, I'm getting cocked. Oh, it's over. It's Jover. Okay, I see a guy pushing. He's gonna come to the left here. Question mark. Come on, peek again. Boom, he's gone. Straight out. Boom.
Crying because I was banned on X.
Okay, I got to trade. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. No, they can like reset it. I forgot one of the changes to rank play is they can reset like the timer. So we didn't fully get a tick. They can push that tick back, but it's fine. My teammates are actually playing the game right now. They pulled their heads out of their asses. But push up. I'm getting a little bit of ground control here. This is ground control to Major Tom. What the fuck did I just look at? That dude like stuttered in spot. All right, so that should be A done. Question mark. Don't let him stop it. No shot. Oh my God, no. Oh no, but can they not reset it? I thought they could. Okay, maybe what I just said about them being able to reset a tick was a lie. I thought they were supposed to be able to. All right, come on, Spiderbot. Jump him. You're awful. I'm hard from that. You got turned on and now I'm turned on and we're in an awkward situation. 2 dudes just turned on. Don't worry, I got the Bill Bong flashbang. Oh, dude, this head glitch is so nasty. Nope, shield versus shield. We win it. Oh my God, I don't even have to aim good. This head glitch is insane. Boom, nice. did that not flash? How did that not flash him? All right, that's it. I'm DMing Aches. What the fuck? Nope. Okay, wait, shoot him, bubble shield. Oh my God, it went all wrong. It went all wrong at the end. The moment I use my ultimate, I'm swapping factions too. I wanted a spider bot troll, but at the same point, I just feel like if we had another mag barrier, I'm not saying it's the meta, but I feel like if we had 3 mag barriers, you know, maybe it might be good. Spider bot, you're getting cucked because it's a bot. I know it's probably not the meta, but I said frick it. We're running the MP5. One more, help me. Here we go. He's splashed. Boom. We're back in. Nope. I'm weak. Boom. He's gone. No, he's one shot. Nice trade. Let's go, Bilbo Baggins. Nothing's going to stand between us and Mount Mordor. Dude, my team is actually just better. Like, playing solo queue in any game when it comes to ranked is such a coin flip, but I've literally been blessed. Kind of. I mean, we are down a teammate, but I wouldn't ask for any different 2 teammates than the ones that I have. I wouldn't want it any other way. Nice. All right, we'll go back to ACR. Actually, you know what? We're sniping. I'm extra trolly. Oh, bubble shield. No, goodbye. Boom. Nice little jump flick. Why does that emoji look like it's got some shots on its face? I mean, they colored it green to keep it PG, but damn. Here we go. Cap it. We got it. The ACR, I'm kind of trolling. What is this? The M4. Who? What is this class setup? Holy shit. No wonder we're winning. All right. I mean, what was that M4 build? I'm happy because whatever the fuck he's using is not going to work. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good until I realize this guy's got a damn blitz shield. Now I'm not feeling too good. All right. A 9-minute defense. 9-minute defense. We got this. Honestly, I wonder how many people who've been playing rank play just get like really crappy RNG with their teammates, and just that alone has almost ruined the rank play experience for them. Like, I might tilt, you know, I played a little bit up, especially if I'm recording. I'll play it a little bit up. I'll let my inner feelings come out. Believe it or not, when I'm sitting in my room alone, not recording, not playing with anybody, I don't just scream at my monitor all the time. Sometimes, occasionally. Nice little 2-piece. Let me flashbang over there. Boom, he's gone. Yeah, I'm just, one of the things that they got going for them is because they have 4 players. I mean, obviously they got more people that we have to kill, more guns shooting at us, but they're able to stack the point with 4 people and cap it way faster than we possibly could down a player to begin with. I got two. Okay, go. Teammate, push, team, push. All right, there we go. We got another 2 down. Oh, okay, sweet. No flashbang. No, he's so weak. I'm egoing it. I shouldn't have ego child. Why am I jumping out? I was already weak. I'm trolling right now, brother, man. I'm trolling. Woo. No, what? That dude must have lasered the hell out of my head on that. Nothing but domers from him. I got melted. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? There is literally nothing I can fucking do there. A bubble shield with their goddamn little whatever the libertard thing is. Good job. So clap for you. Very deserved win. I swear it better not make me lose any RP. We played down a teammate and damn near won. I say damn near won. It really wasn't close, but still. Really? You're going to not let me have a teammate? You're going to start the game before I have a team, act surprised that I lost, and then give me minus RP still? Oh, I gotta. I've played 2 games, and rank play currently is absolutely dog shit. It's great. It's a lot of fun. With that being said, rank play definitely doesn't seem like something you want to hop in if you're a solar player. Solo. I know Aches and Mark Rubin and the team over at XDEFIANT have kind of like portrayed this idea that rank play is for everyone. I believe that's what they want. I believe we will get there. Currently, it's not for everyone. Currently, rank play is for people with friends. If you don't have friends, rank play's not for you. It's not for loners. It's not for losers. But I mean, like what? We got 78 days left in the season. We got plenty of more patches and stuff that is obviously going to be coming to fix a bunch of the issues. We got 78 days, tons of more patches on the way.
I got something crazy to tell you. My house is being haunted by crazy good deals. Oh, here's a ghost now. Oh, he's...
So I'm actually currently editing my video right now.
We're not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere.
Today, Joe Biden took a page out of Donald Trump's playbook and called into his favorite cable TV news show to reiterate his plans to stay in the race. He also dared Democrats to try to challenge him. And on top of that, he sent a defiant letter to congressional Democrats basically saying, I'm staying in the race, deal with it. So he's digging in, and as he digs in, things keep getting worse for him, both in terms of polling data and confidence from his own base and party. And with regard to the latter issue, answers like this are part of the problem.
How can you assure the American people that you won't have another night like the one you did in Atlanta?
Look at my career. I've not had many of those nights.
Checkmate, bedwetters. See, when he was younger and not in cognitive decline, he didn't have bad nights like that. So it's definitely not going to happen again because, as we all know, aging definitely doesn't just go in one direction. You know, sometimes you wake up and you're 18 years old. Other times you wake up and you're 150. It's just amazing, isn't it? So we're reaching the point where he's just denying reality, not just with regard to his condition, but his status in this race. And I say this because during his interview, he's not admitting that the debate harmed him.
The idea that Donald Trump has gained in any substantial way as his argument to why he should be president is anywhere convincing than it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. It's just not there.
Now, his delusional comments there aren't necessarily surprising because he said the same thing in his interview on ABC News with George Stephanopoulos on Friday evening.
Let me challenge you, because you were close but behind going into the debate. You're further behind now by any measure. It's been a two-man race for several months. Inflation has come down. In those last few months, he's become a convicted felon, yet you're still falling further behind.
You guys keep saying that. George, you know polling better than anybody. Do you think polling data is accurate as it used to be?
I don't think so, but I think when you look at all of the polling data right now, it shows that he's certainly ahead in the popular vote, probably even more ahead in the battleground states. And one of the other key factors there is it shows that in many of the battleground states, the Democrats who are running for Senate and the House are doing better than you are.
Well, that's not unusual in some states. I carried an awful lot of Democrats last time I ran in 2020. Look, I remember them telling me the same thing in 2020. I can't win. The polls show I can't win. Remember 2020, the red wave was coming. Before the vote, I said, that's not going to happen. We're going to win. We did better in an off year than almost any incumbent president ever has done. They said in 2023, all the tough races, we're not going to win. I went into all those areas, all those districts, and we won.
He just seems like a stubborn old man. Now, part of the problem is that his biggest boosters are now parroting his poll denial, although they do tend to share the polls that are more favorable to him. And to be clear, when I say favorable, I mean they still show him losing, albeit to a lesser extent. Now, here's the thing. Polling isn't everything, and it can under or overestimate candidates. That's happened. It's not a perfect science, right? But it is still a valid indication of where the race is, and aggregate polling data paints a very clear picture. Joe Biden is losing, and rather than admitting that, he is denying reality, and Biden bros are now parroting what he's saying, which is pretty dangerous because I thought that the Democratic Party was against political cults, but here we are. Now, here's a reality check. He's not doing well. In fact, to put things into perspective, he's losing in every single swing state in polling averages, and with the exception of Wisconsin and Michigan, he's losing by quite a bit. Now, this is in spite of the fact that he's been outspending Trump when it comes to ad spending by a massive amount. Now, Trump is barely even campaigning, and he's still decimating Biden, which shows you how bad he's doing. Now, to make matters worse, a new poll just dropped by Emerson, which is a very reliable pollster, confirming yet again that he is getting crushed in swing states. But this is only a problem if you accept reality. And lucky for Biden, he is not doing that. He's rejecting reality because it makes him feel better. Now, CNN pollster Harry Enton debunked Biden's reasoning for doubting polls because he argues, that he was underestimated. That's what he said with George Stephanopoulos. But that's just not true.
I just want to point out where the polls are now, where they were at this point back in 2020, and Joe Biden's worst position in the polls back in 2020. Right now, Donald Trump leads in an aggregate of national polls by about 3 percentage points. If you go back 4 years ago at this point, Joe Biden was ahead by 9 points. This right now don't look anything like what we saw 4 years ago at this point. I then decided to take it a step further. What was Biden's worst 2020 polling position? He was ahead by 4 points, which basically matched what he ended up beating Donald Trump by in the national popular vote. So this 3-point advantage for Donald Trump is Donald Trump's best position versus Joe Biden, whether you include the polls this year or you include the polls last cycle. The idea that the polls underestimated Joe Biden last time around, simply put, does not hold any water, Mr. Berman.
Not in the general election, certainly. What about in terms of being underestimated in the Trump era in general?
Yeah, so I decided to expand upon our search. Who outperformed their July national polls? This is major elections during the Trump era. We can start in the midterms, right? Take a look here. This is a 2022 midterm. Wow. This is a generic congressional ballot. In fact, Republicans were underestimated by a point. They outperformed their July polls and the actual result by a percentage point. You go back to 2018, Democrats did outperform their polls, but just by a point. Basically, the polls were right on at this particular point in the midterm elections. We talk about the presidential race. Last time around, Donald Trump actually did better in the results than his July poll by 5 points. You go back to 2016, you see something very similar. That is, the July polls actually underestimated Donald Trump. He outperformed his July polls. So the idea in the Trump era that the polls have underestimated Democrats, whether it be in a Joe Biden matchup, whether it be a matchup against Hillary Clinton, whether it be in the midterms, at least in the national polling, that right now shows Donald Trump in his strongest position, simply put, is not true. If anything, the polls have underestimated Republicans during the Trump era, especially in the presidential races in 2016 and in 2020.
On that front, I mean, how unusual is it for a Republican to be ahead by this much right now?
Yeah, so let's go all the way back. Who led in early July polls? Well, right now, Donald Trump is ahead. Go back in 2020, a Democrat, Biden. 2016, Hillary Clinton, a Democrat. 2008, 2012, a Democrat. Even in 2004, where George W. Bush ended up winning, John Kerry was actually ahead in the polls at this point. You have to go all the way back to 2000, to George W. Bush being ahead in the early July polls. You have to go all the way back to the end of the 20th century, beginning of the 21st century, to find a Republican ahead at this point. 24 years. At this particular point, the idea that a Democrat is ahead, there are voters in the electorate who are dealing with a poll position they have never seen before, and that is a Republican leading in the national popular vote, at least according to the polls.
A very unusual situation.
So he is uniquely weak in this election and refuses to admit it. But here's what he said on Friday when he was asked about the prospect of him losing.
And if you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do, that's what this is about.
There you have it. As long as he did the goodest job, that's all that matters. Cool. Democracy's on the line, and Project 2025 is right around the corner, but at least we all know that Biden thought that he did the goodest job to stop it. Thank you, Biden. You know, it's easy for him to say that because he has nothing to lose except for the election. But I mean, as an individual, he'll be fine. He's not going to lose bodily autonomy any further or marriage rights. He doesn't have a trans child. He's not an immigrant. So if he loses, he'll be fine. He'll fuck off and live in his mansion in peace until he dies. But the rest of us, we're going to have to deal with the ramifications of a second Trump term for the rest of our lives, despite how good of a job he thinks that he did. So it's really a fucked up thing for him to say. And when he was asked about this on Morning Joe, he laughed about it. I'm not making this up.
The topic came up of the Stephanopoulos interview where you were asked the question, how would you feel if Donald Trump beat you? How would you feel after you lost? And you said, well, as long as I did the best I could do, that's the most important thing. That's caused Democrats concern who believe that losing is not an option. What would you say to those who are concerned by that answer?
It's not an option, and I've not lost. I haven't lost. I beat him last time. I'll beat him this time. And this is a guy who, look, we talk about debate. Look at his performance at debate.
Incredible. Just incredible. Trump's performance at the debate was bad. I agree with him. But the problem is that Biden's cognitive decline overshadowed Trump's lies. The fact that Biden was not capable of fact-checking Donald Trump speaks to his weakness as a candidate. But, you know, don't worry, everyone, because he says he's going to win, so I guess we all just have to shut the fuck up and believe him, even though all the evidence says otherwise. This is such a frustrating situation. Like, we're dealing with somebody who is not in the same plane of existence as us. I say that both literally and, you know, metaphorically speaking, because he's in cognitive decline, so he's not with it like he was previously. But on top of that, you know, he's just denying everything that we can see with our own eyes. His performance, polls, it's just so frustrating. But thankfully, some Democrats aren't willing to just accept our fate and accept another Trump term. And there's been little inklings here and there that Democrats are rallying together to try to compel him to drop out. Mark Warner, for example, was reportedly concocting a plan with other senators to do just that. But to get ahead of this effort, Biden released a lengthy letter to them, which reads, quote, "I wouldn't be running again if I did not absolutely believe I was the best person to beat Donald Trump in 2024. We had a Democratic nomination process, and the voters have spoken clearly and decisively. I received over 14 million votes, 87% of the votes cast across the entire nominating process. I have nearly 3,900 delegates, making me the presumptive nominee of our party by a wide margin. This was a process open to anyone who wanted to run. Only 3 people chose to challenge me. One fared so badly that he left the primaries to run as an independent. Another attacked me for being too old and was soundly defeated. The voters of the Democratic Party have voted. They have chosen me to be the nominee of the party. Do we now just say this process didn't matter, that the voters don't have a say?" Now he concludes on the second page by saying it's time for this talk of him dropping out to end, and adds, quote, "Any weakening of resolve or lack of clarity about the task ahead only helps Trump and hurts us." So basically, if you point out the fact that he's uniquely weak to Donald Trump, you're helping Donald Trump. It's not Joe Biden who's helping Donald Trump by stubbornly staying in the race, even though his own party is calling on him to drop out. It's everyone else who's saying, hey, maybe you should drop out so we can beat Donald Trump. Now, it's incredible that he had the audacity to cite the so-called primary when what we got in 2024 was not a real primary. There were no debates, and some states outright just canceled primaries like Florida. So no, there wasn't a democratic process, and to the extent that there was, hundreds of thousands of voters still across multiple states, ones that actually had primaries, they voted uncommitted, specifically to let you know that they disapprove of you. Prior to that, there were polls showing that Democrats were discontent with Biden and they didn't want him to run again. But there wasn't a primary, so we didn't really have a choice. So no, you don't get to play the democracy card here in the absence of a real primary process. But the message here to Democratic electeds is clear. If you come for me, you're going to war with the Democratic Party base as well, which is not something that Democratic politicians want to do. Now, unfortunately, it does seem like this letter worked because Axios is reporting that Mark Warner's Monday meeting was actually called off. Now, they don't necessarily say that the meeting was canceled because of this letter. They say that, you know, senators don't feel like they'll have the confidentiality to speak without what they say getting leaked. But, you know, the entire Senate Democratic caucus is going to be tomorrow, so we'll see if they discuss this or whatnot. The time, though, of this news, it's, you know, it's pretty conspicuous if you ask me. It kind of feels like Mark Warner is standing down after Biden told him to stand down. Not directly, but still, I mean, I think that that letter in part was directed at people that Mark Warner was trying to appeal to in the Senate. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. Now, one more thing I want to talk about is Biden's interview with Morning Joe. Had a moment where he was asked about media outlets, donors, and Democratic Party officials publicly calling on him to drop out. And I want to play his message to them.
I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention.
So he's talking a big game. He's daring Democrats to try to contest his convention, and he's railing against elites. Now, in a different context, I think that would be a great line if it wasn't complete horseshit. Fine, Biden, you want to take on elites? You're all of a sudden Mr. Pro-Populist? Declare your support for Medicare for all right now. Shun all of your donors in the healthcare industry and let them know who's in charge. Support Medicare for all. Stick it to the elites in the defense industry by calling for an immediate withdrawal of IDF forces in Gaza. Right now, do that. You know, Boeing isn't going to be too happy about that. All these defense contractors that fund your campaign, they're not going to be too happy about that, but at least you're sticking it to the donors and, you know, you're letting them know who's in charge. He's not going to do that. Biden is all bark and no bite. In fact, after railing against elites, guess what he did? He took questions from donors on a phone call. He is so full of shit. And it's insulting that he'll pretend to be against elites and for the people who democratically elected him, yet he'll hold private meetings with elites, but not town halls or press conferences. Okay, if you're for the people and you're so populist, why aren't you with them right now? Take some questions, do a town hall. But here's the thing, we don't really have to say anything in the matter because we can talk until we're blue in the face. Our words mean nothing because this decision is Biden's decision to make alone. The only influence that external factors have is they can put pressure on him if they're in a pretty powerful position. But just in terms of like us as people, we can't say shit. We have no say in the matter. If he wants to stay in and lose to Trump, we can't do shit about that. It's really frustrating. So unless elected Democrats come together and they're brave enough to put their necks on the line to call on him to drop out, he's not going to go anywhere. Now he's feeling the heat, but the question is, will it be enough to get him to drop out? And so far, doesn't seem like there's any indication of that. But if he doesn't drop out, that's going to be too bad because that means that a Trump victory is going to be very likely. Now, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he's right, that he really can beat Donald Trump if that's the case. But it's not looking too good. And I think that people should prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
Why the fuck would you spend $180 to get access to information that's available on YouTube for free? Is this class worth it? For example, Gordon teaches us how to cook salmon to perfection, but that's already on YouTube. Gordon teaches us how to make an elevated scrambled egg. That is also already on YouTube. He even teaches us how to make an amazing pasta dough from scratch, which is already available on YouTube tenfold. Gordon shows how to make fresh pasta. Gordon's Pasta Guide. The best way to make pasta from scratch. Oh, that's not him. Gordon shows how to make fresh pasta for tagliatelle. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that in English, so I felt like just overshooting it would at least get me most of the way there.
Tagliatelle.
Absolutely not. Gordon is undeniably an expert in his craft. He has worked hard for decades to get to where he is today. And that's part of why people respect him, including me. I love him the most. This is not Parasol. Shit, I forgot to turn on lights for the background. One sec. Blue is good. Blue wins. He very much has a story of pulling himself up by his Scottish bootstraps and getting out there and learning, begging for a job, struggling with money to try to follow his dream. And what we've learned from my video taking Charlie Puth's music class, being really talented and teaching are completely different skill sets. But Gordon's already been teaching for decades, starting with taking people under his wing after his first 3 Michelin stars. So he's already a good teacher. We've also learned a lot about him over the years as a celebrity. And that he's a very skilled speaker.
Oh my God.
So why make this masterclass when you have YouTube tutorials, hundreds of cookbooks, and literally a free course on YouTube called Gordon's Ultimate Cookery Course, a different video called Cooking Basics with Gordon Ramsay Part 1 and 2, 50 Cooking Tips with Gordon Ramsay Parts 1 and 2, How to Master 5 Basic Cooking Skills, you won't believe number 7, and on Hulu, Gordon Ramsay's Ultimate Home Cooking. Well, if Masterclass offered you at least $100,000 to talk about shit you already know about, would you really say no? That being said, I took Gordon Ramsay's masterclass, so you don't have to. Or maybe you still want to. It's your life, not mine. Masterclass is only $10 a month. Wow. But wait, it's billed annually, so it's actually $120 plus tax per year. So good thing this is a business expense. Or it would be if I didn't just borrow my friend's account for this. You'll notice throughout the video that this person in the top right corner is not me, so don't be alarmed. If you want to upgrade to the recommended more expensive plan, you'll get to watch this masterclass on up to 6 devices at a time. Just in case 5 of them spontaneously combust while I'm in the zone, I won't miss a beat. By the way, you might be thinking about what my credentials are to take this class and tell you what I think about it. And first of all, it's my YouTube channel. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Secondly, I am a home cook, so I do enjoy cooking. I'm not one of those people that doesn't know how to boil water to make pasta. These are some lovely things that I cooked. Yum, yum, yummy in your tummy. So I am once again not a total beginner, but I am also not super, super talented. I'd say I'm a good cook. I'm not a feminist. I know how to cook.
I'm not a feminist. I can actually cook.
Let's see how they advertised this class.
It's easy to cook on TV. There's talented producers, there's fucking editors, and there's all sorts of things that make you look good.
So anyway, guys, that's why this class is going to be shot in 4K with a camera crew and editing team. No, I definitely get what he's saying. This time we're hopefully taking it a step back with less editing and showing the whole process.
Everything I've learned, understood, stolen, perfected is laid bare across this masterclass.
So this is like 30 years of experience condensed down into this one class. This is the class, which is how Masterclass is marketed anyway. So the first couple episodes are spent building Gordon's credentials. Yes, he's a celebrity chef, but he's got the chops and talent to back it up. So we go through Gordon's backstory and how he got started in the industry.
I want to become French. I swear to God, I want to become French.
Nice. Episode 3, we learn about mise and place, which is basically just telling you to get everything out before you start cooking because it makes it easier. Mise and place.
Mise en place.
Another cool thing we learn about Gordon is that he has his kids' names embroidered on his stove. Not embroidered, they're like metal plates. It's sweet, but looks slightly ominous. But a nice tip we learn is to place a damp paper towel under a cutting board to make it not slip and slide around. Nice tip. We learn how to cut an onion, which is something that Gordon goes over on YouTube, and how I originally learned the technique. Cutting the onion hot dog instead of hamburger allows for the onion not to release the poison gas that causes our eyes to tear.
That's absolutely crucial. Leave that on there. If you cut that off, the onion will start to bleed and you'll start crying rapidly. Slightly tilt the knife down, one at the top, gripping the onion like a tennis ball, holding it together in place.
Zone A in danger.
That one worked great, Gordon.
We're losing A.
That one worked really well. I didn't cry this time. Though as many would point out, this is still a skill issue due to poor genetics. That first lesson really tired me out. What would Gordon do now? Gordon Ramsay also likes working out, and I want to be more like him. He's also my fitness inspo after all. I want to look more like him, and I know exactly how to do that with Trainwell. Trainwell is a personalized fitness app that actually gets me to consistently work out. It's a real-life, human, living, breathing personal trainer on the other end that you have an onboarding call with. They get to know you, your lifestyle, what you're trying to accomplish with your health and fitness, and then they personalize workouts for you. Like for me, I really just wanted to overall feel healthier and have more energy and focus on my core, painfully. So for 2 months, I've been using Trainwell, absorbing the greatness of Gordon while exercising. The best part for me is that they tailor workouts to as much or as little equipment as you have. I have felt so much more energetic and less bloated. I mean, it's exercise. And it's unheard of to see me doing anything past 9 p.m. And I've done these workouts at 11 p.m. and I've never regretted it. I can't tell you how many times I don't feel like working out. But having Trainwell has actually helped me stay consistent no matter what type of day I'm having. Especially because I can do it at the convenience of my own home, literally whenever I want or can. So I highly recommend it, and I'm really excited for them to be sponsoring my channel because it's just a great program overall. So if you want to get started, if you want to try it out, you can click my Trainwell link, formerly Copilot, at go.trainwell.net/GabbyBell to get 14 days free with your own personal trainer. Episode 4, we go over vegetables and herbs, how to cut something as daunting as a butternut squash. Throughout these mastering ingredients classes, Gordon goes over popular and not as popular ingredients in the kitchen, how to use them and what they're good for, along with some popular dishes in other cultures they might be used in. In all of them, though, well, let's just say...
It's incredible. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. What's the worst thing you can do to a baby carrot?
Get you someone that looks at you the way that Gordon looks at carrots. But that's when Gordon's not manhandling raw meat. There's episodes on breaking down raw chicken and whole fish, and while definitely useful for someone who's learning how to break down their own raw meat, I had to skip through these because I couldn't handle it. Now I understand why Gordon is so comfortable sticking his raw hands into buckets of rotten chicken in Kitchen Nightmares all the time. I know this is cowardly for me to skip through this, but if they dropped me back into the caveman era and I had to hunt and break down meat, I would probably just eat grass for the rest of my life. I'd be the first caveman vegetarian that just had spinach and like invented kale smoothies or something. Throughout the series, yes, there's editing and beautiful camera work, but here it works to enhance and condense information so as not to waste your time. That's instead of having unedited hour-long lectures that are just
bound to change, but I have an idea. I don't want it to be exactly the same as the course because it's
just for the sake of filling time so the class feels like it's worth your money. What I do think might be worth it is actually just cooking or taking IRL cooking classes. The classes do include a recipe card on each episode that needs it, so you can follow along, which is pretty nice, except these recipes don't come with a story about someone stranger's third divorce and how her cousin's grandchildren's friends are absolutely obsessed with this recipe. Or 20 ads that break and reload the website so every time you scroll down a little bit, it brings you back up to the top. Those are the best. The class is kind of nice to have on in the background. I noticed by this point it's actually kind of relaxing hearing him rant without any sound effects, music, or even cooking. Just explaining concepts and when to use herbs and such, and hearing the way he thinks about things. There's a lot to learn even from there. I especially love when musicians I admire talk about the way that they think of certain concepts and how differently they view something is pretty interesting to me. Episode 5 is where we actually start letting him cook, as they say. And in episode 7, oh, we are cooking. My favorite. Eggs. Eggs were the first thing I learned how to cook when I was like 8. Scrambled, poached, fried, breakfast, lunch, dinner. What is that? Those are the most pretentious looking eggs I have ever seen. Gordon already has a video on YouTube on how to cook perfect scrambled eggs, so let's go with that.
Eggs, butter from the fridge, a little touch of creme fraiche, and then we'll season it with a little touch of fresh chives at the very end.
Hello and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're gonna be cooking Gordon Ramsay's perfect scrambled eggs. Heat on, and you don't pre-beat them, and you don't pre-season them, because then it will turn watery and it'll turn your eggs gray.
If we were to season the eggs now, they would go grey.
The eggs turn grey?
No, there's a shell. Gordon didn't prepare me for this. Did I get it? All right, we're rolling with it. We gotta continue.
A couple of slices of butter.
Knobs of butter. A nice generous knob of butter.
A generous knob of butter. And now, stir.
Take it off. Don't cook it too quickly.
30 seconds on. 60 seconds on. I come off now. That slows down the cooking process, stops the eggs from overcooking. Back on. Now I come back off the heat.
Now you come off the heat.
I go back on. I come back off
and on again.
the heat. On and off, back on to the heat again.
Off the heat.
Back on. Back onto the heat.
Has it been 90 seconds?
No.
Maybe it's the nature of cooking content, but it's a lot more engaging to watch someone cook than tinker with a program through screen sharing. But of course, the best way to learn is just by doing.
Teaspoon of creme fraiche. Sour cream or creme fraiche. Just a teaspoon
of creme fraiche.
Just a teaspoon of creme fraiche or sour cream. This prevents the eggs from overcooking.
A little touch of creme fraiche. It stops them from overcooking. Actually stops the scrambled egg from overcooking. Creme fraiche. Lightly season. Really important. Right at the very end.
Salt, pepper at the end. 30 seconds on the end.
Salt, pepper. I'm going to season it. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. Chopped chives. And then finally, some fresh chives. A little touch of chives in there.
Don't film this. I'm just doing it really quick. And then we're going to put in these chives. Now I'm going to put it on some homemade Eggo waffles. It looks like poop dribbling. I can't have 5 eggs. I'm gonna have a heart attack. All that cholesterol. God, I love it. Open up.
Honestly, Gordon, this is better than Waffle House. And that's saying a lot, because I like my eggs with cheese. It was too hot. I got excited.
If you've taken a cooking class before and you are more skilled than I, you may not need this. But if you want to learn from Gordon Ramsay and maybe just hear his wonderful voice and his take on different concepts that you may or may not already know, it is interesting. And I do just want to quickly add that while you can find a lot of this information on YouTube for free, it is put in like a nice, concise, packaged way that's easy to like cross-reference and go back to. The production quality is really good, but you know, I wasn't really expecting anything less. But that's because all of this highly depends on the teacher. Gordon just so happens to have both skills of cooking and teaching that he's been honing for so long now. For example, he tells you why you're cutting the shallot that way instead of just telling you this is right because I learned it that way. He prioritizes technique over speed. Little common sense things that you do subconsciously that you would never think to explain, like turning the vegetable to suit you and not turning the knife in weird ways. Unsurprisingly, if you're aiming to learn general knowledge on cooking and absorb as much information as you can, this is good for that, which is exactly how it's advertised as a general cooking 1 course, so points for that. Because without this class, the only reason I know what a cockle is because of Stardew Valley. Halfway through this class, Gordon gives us a motivational pep talk. Perfect, right as I was starting to lose steam.
Yeah, I was ready. I was done with 9 days. I was ready to go. Yeah.
We secured the zone.
Interesting. You don't need therapy when you have this.
So I started shitting myself.
$180 for this one class may not be worth it, but maybe the true value of masterclass is having access to the entire library of masters in their craft, so you can absorb even more knowledge from, like, Usher.
You think of a car, a stick shift. You put it into first, it goes, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. Same thing, you gotta shift downward. So you'll start in fifth.
Focus up and return the favor.
I didn't understand this till I was about maybe 25.
Gordon's course being well suited for beginners can't be said for all master classes. This Forbes article describes Serena Williams' class as just technical enough to be useless for beginners, but mundane to someone who's taken a tennis lesson before. Turns out, celebrities are the ones taking lessons from professionals behind the scenes, and most aren't actually cut out to be teachers. During Kevin Hart's masterclass, you don't actually get into how comedy works and like concepts until 30 minutes in. 30 minutes into the class. The entire first half of this 1 hour long, 1 episode masterclass is spent just like motivational stuff. Masterclass kind of uses celebrity draw to get people in, rather than trying to actually be an educational platform like Skillshare, Brilliant, or others like it, which definitely feels a little bit like a waste of money. But all of this thinking was overshadowed when I learned that Gordon Ramsay is left-handed, just like me. Like Gordon usually does in his content for cooking plebeians like me, he uses mostly affordable ingredients with tools that most home cooks already have in their kitchen. And then he closes off with some beautiful words.
Finding your passion in life is the most important thing you can do. Stop worrying about a bonus and a financial security. Find a passion because everything else falls into place once you've got that track set to climb the ladder and you're passionate about.
No, wrong one.
When I come back,
forces on zone B.
fucking ass.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I have so many videos on Gorgonzola Ramsay if you want to watch those, and subscribe if you haven't already. That would be really cool. I've been Gabby Bell, and will continue to be. Here are some photos from VidCon. This was my very first one. They decided to give me my 1 million subscriber plaque in person, which was really cool. I know I won't shut up about it, but I know some of you don't follow me on my other socials, which you totally should. I went to a TikTok hosted party, and it was very overwhelming, but I got to show off my moves to let everyone know I was better than them. Thanks to Trainwell again for sponsoring the video. Bye!
Capture zone contested.
So instead of like a group class project where peers in masterclass can talk to each other on forums, thank God we have a f***ing AI instead. So what are we hoping to learn from this course? It looks like the person who was using this account before me said they really want to improve my sense of humor. Our AI assistant said, by starting and laughing at yourself, you can better understand how to bring humor to other aspects of life. Thank God I'm not only learning from the king of comedy, Kevin Hart, but I'm also learning how to be funny from a f***ing AI. The day that AI is funnier than me, I should just call it quits.
I just don't want to fight anymore. What are you scared of?
You know, I've been told not to talk about it because once they know, when they see this and they know, that's what they'll go after. How did a nice Catholic girl from Pittsburgh just end up here? Don't cry. Don't you dare cry. Shush.
Not, I was wondering what's in the...
Christy and I, you idiot. Christy and I, little snake.
How dare you call my daughter a sneak?
Snake.
She's not a sneak.
I do not raise brats. Why were you in your car last night crying? I am not going to sit in a dressing room with a bunch of kids and a bunch of disrespectful mothers. I am a fun person. People don't realize that on the show. But I'm fun. Barrel laughs here. I don't want to do it.
Imagine this. You're sitting in a chair at a table in a lavish podcast studio lit by soft rose gold coloring with a microphone positioned right in front of you, and to your left is a TV screen with the name and logo of your podcast. In front of you, another microphone, a glass of water, and a middle-aged woman with large, voluminous hair, many bracelets, bright red lipstick, and huge metal stars hanging from her ears. The two of you are having a cordial but deep conversation about her career, encompassing the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. She speaks to you about the proudest moments in her life and the children she helped turn into international superstars. She tears up as she talks about the relationship she no longer has with many of them. And when she discusses her recent health scares, the conversation turns bittersweet. This is a capital I interview. At times funny, at other times frustrating, but all in all, pretty interesting. And then the conversation takes a turn for the bizarre when the two of you start talking about, of all things, a white chocolate coconut bundt cake from a place known as Doan's Bakery. As the two of you wax on and off about this delicious sounding cake, your subject switches focus and asks if you've ever seen the 1983 movie All the Right Moves, starring Tom Cruise as, quote, a high school football player. And then without prompting, your subject goes on to say, quote, oh, that's my downfall. I like the high school football players. I still like them.
Have you seen what? All the Right Moves?
No.
That's the best movie ever.
With him in it?
Oh my God, yes, All the Right Moves. He's a high school football player.
Ooh.
That's my downfall. I like the high school football players. I still like them.
Okay, so that's an objectively weird thing to say, but you brush it off and talk about how it's coaches that can be sort of hot, right? So then she responds, not one that used to be in high school, but one that is.
I like the coaches.
Not one that used to be in high school, but one that is. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, so I guess at this point you have no choice but to end the interview because, what the hell, right? Well, you've been speaking to 58-year-old Abby Lee Miller, the notorious head of the Abby Lee Dance Company and figurehead at the front of the show Dance Moms, a show that followed the sheer amount of blood, sweat, and tears that went on to shaping the futures of a dozen or so child dancers, many of whom have gone on to very successful careers in Hollywood and online, such as Maddie Ziegler, Kalani Honey Hilliker, and none other than JoJo Siwa.
No one has made this dramatic of a change yet. No one has made, in my generation, this extreme of a switch. And I am the first of a generation. It is very scary, but we gotta do it.
Now, from a distance, this statement would seem like an odd and disturbing thing for a woman known for working with children to say, and I wouldn't blame you for thinking that because, yeah, especially when she doubled down on Instagram the following Monday.
I do like those hot, athletic, muscular types of guys. Good jobs. I always have, and I always will.
Because you know, as I always say something questionable about children and then double down on it. And yet, to everybody familiar with Abby Lee Miller and the way she talks to children, about children, and how she genuinely conducts herself in her day-to-day life, this comment wasn't actually all that shocking. Because after nearly a decade at the head of the Dance Moms empire, Abby Lee Miller has become infamous for everything from physical altercations with parents to alleged emotional abuse of countless children to allegations of racism, of course, to actual criminal convictions for years of financial fraud relating to her time at her own dance company. But what about some perspective? What could possibly be an explanation if one even exists? Well, as you'll find out the further this story goes, the problem with Dance Moms may seem to start with Abby Lee Miller. They really go even much deeper than that, and also much, much darker. And this is what we know.
Zone compromised. Allied forces on zone B.
Hi everyone, this is Future Me. I just wanted to pop in here really quick and give a huge thank you to all of you. If you want to skip this, there should be some time code, but I just wanted to give a huge thank you. As some of you know, I was recently violently physically assaulted, and it has been a lot. It's been a lot to process and to deal with. I was injured, and I just needed to take some time to mend a little bit and to heal, and to just kind of, not be on camera for a little bit. There was a community tab post that was made, just giving a little bit of the details of what was going on, and my mom encouraged me to go and read your comments, and I'm just, again, so blown away by your kindness and your generosity. And there were so many of you who have been reaching out just to send me nice thoughts and warm wishes, or little, kitty or puppy photos to help me feel better. And what really encouraged me was just seeing so many of you feel like you could share even bits of your own story. And that was just, I read so many of your stories, and I think you are just so brave and so strong and powerful, even if you don't feel like you are. I just want to remind you that you're not alone. And I also know, I've been working with my mental health support team to just keep going and moving forward through this. I did not have a support system in my personal life for a very long time, and now that I do, I'm so thankful, and I realize that there are still so many people, probably many of you out there, who feel like you don't have any type of support in your personal life. I just think that really underscores the importance of community, and so thank you to all of you who have been just uplifting. I've seen many of you comment on each other's stories and just uplifting people who may not feel like they have support, and I think that is so beautiful. We have such an incredible community, and I'm so honored to be a part of this. Living through abusive situations is not easy. It is very complicated. And healing is not linear. I've definitely learned that, but you're not alone, and I just appreciate all of you so much. I have been slowly integrating myself back into the work. That is where I feel happy, and I'm very much looking forward to being fully back very, 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 very soon. Anyways, I'm being long-winded, but I just want to say thank you. Yeah, all right, I will let you go to the rest of this video that you actually clicked in to watch, and I will see you very, very soon. Thanks.
Oh, hi there. Hello, hi. It's my face again. Swoop. If you're seeing me for the first time, welcome. I'm a filmmaker, documentarian, and commentary creator, and I make swoop docs and short films on unsolved cases, true crime, and social media influencers who abuse their power and manipulate audiences because, as I always say, it's not drama, it's dangerous. So you'll get the facts, my perspective, and some commentary, and a chance to share your own, okay? We also dig deeper into fascinating angles, play devil's advocate, and sometimes we take it to Petty University because, honey, listen, okay, Petty is my coping mechanism for all the challenges in life. So if you want to join the Petty University community, all are welcome. Go ahead, feel free to introduce yourself amongst the class. We're a fun bunch. Also, you can connect with me on Instagram and Twitter. That's where I post most often. And of course, for those of you who want, you can still grab your very own apparel pieces from the Valid Ribcage and Valid Social Club collections in the Petty University shop, linked below as always. Listen, in a world full of so much bad, I believe that we should be able to wear things that make us feel good and hopefully others feel good who might be seeing the messaging. Okay, we're gonna dive into this story, but real quick, a big thank you to today's sponsor, Murder in the Alps, and to all of you for watching. Now, I don't know about you, but I am obsessed with crime and mystery games and solving the whodunit. They just kind of help me relax, and recently, I've been loving Murder in the Alps, a free, fully interactive adventure game, and I think that you will love it too. So picture this. Murder in the Alps is a crime novel where action takes place in the 1930s, set in a hotel tucked away in one of the most beautiful locations in the Alps with a deadly secret. Now, one of the guests goes missing, and then other strange things start happening. So, a journalist named Anna must solve the mystery and figure out which one of the 10 other characters could be the killer. Y'all, I am obsessed with this game. It is fully interactive, it's filled with dark secrets, and you can interact with all of the characters, which shape how the story unfolds, which is just so satisfying. Now, my favorite character is Anna because, you know, we love a good journalist. So you get to solve these mind-boggling puzzles, travel to many unique locations from the gorgeous Alps to the blood-filled cellars. It basically has it all, and let's be real, like, we could all use some time off from social media with something just fun and relaxing. And listen, it's not just another hidden object game, okay? I absolutely love that it has these thrilling comics, 12 chapters with tons of mini games, puzzles, close-ups, and most importantly, 12 different meta investigations. And with plot twists around every corner, this game is like an emotional roller coaster, okay? It is filled with passion, it's got the surprise, and of course, it's got the meta. I'm just so hooked, okay? And just a sidebar, it gives like a movie-like experience with professional voiceovers and sound effects, so you're definitely gonna wanna play with the sound on whenever possible. And the best part of all, the game is free and available for iOS and Android. Yes, F-R-E-E, free. So, can you find the answer to the Murder in the Alps? Click the link in my description box or use the QR code here to download the game straight to your phone right now. I absolutely love this game. I think you will too. So download and start playing today because you deserve it, honey. Okay, friends, let's dive into the dark world of Dance Moms and Abby Lee Miller.
Domination. A mix of attack and defense. Engage responsibly.
Before we get into just how off the rails the Dance Moms story gets, we have to start with how surprisingly on the rails the Abby Lee Miller story was for a very long time. So Abigail Lee Miller was born on September 21st, 1965 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the only child of a man named George L. Miller and a woman named Marion Lorraine Miller, who herself was a dance teacher and studio owner. So when Abby was growing up, she took part in doing a number of extracurricular activities. For example, she was in the Girl Scouts, she was in ski club, and she even took up playing the clarinet, believe it or not. Abby referred to herself as a bit of a daddy's girl, since her dad would take her, you know, to all of those things. But by all of these accounts, her parents were very supportive of her, even if her dad was a little brash at times. Christina Ruvalis wrote a feature on Abby in Pittsburgh Magazine back in 2013, and according to Christina, Abby's dad once told her, quote, "You are dumb enough for twins." I have no freaking idea what that means exactly. It's like, to me, I hear like dumb enough for twins and I think like two braids are better than what? I it? Maybe. I don't know what I'm missing, y'all. But regardless of whatever that phrase means, that kind of insult is what fueled Abby to work harder at anything that she loved doing. And it also set the stage for a few of her own character traits as an adult. Eventually, Abby started taking classes at her mother's dance studio. Now, what you might find interesting about this is that Abby herself did not actually like dancing. Or more specifically, she didn't like performing live. Now, according to Abby herself, even when she was as young as 13, she was much more interested in figuring out choreography, especially which steps were effective, which songs were the best fit for which costumes, and so on. So it was at the age of 13 that Abby started traveling with her mom across the country to a number of national dance conventions. So it was the 1970s and dance was in the air, baby. Disco, dance, marathons, the YMCA, the hustle, all of it was happening. Dancing was big for everyone, everywhere, all across all ages, races, and creeds. So most kids interested in dance would be exposed to something like this and maybe want to participate. Abby, a true entrepreneur, even as a child, wanted something more. She didn't want to just be one dancer. She wanted to train all of the dancers. Yes, let me dabble in all of it. She actually elaborated on this further on Bethany Frankel's podcast, Just Be.
At 13 years old, got a flyer in the mail at my house. My mom did.
Where
it was about in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Where I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, in the suburbs, about 20 minutes out of the city. Okay, so my dad worked at the railroad in conjunction with the steel mills. So, I mean, he had an office job, you know, eventually, but it was a good job, really good job. And my mother had 7 studios in Miami, Florida. And she didn't want, the reason she left and moved to Pittsburgh to marry my dad is she didn't want to walk out on her pension. Him to walk out on his pension and his benefits and all that. Because her dad did that for Westinghouse and walked out and they had nothing. So she moved back to Pittsburgh, hated it every minute of her life. Not the marriage, the city.
And like, this next part sounds untrue, but I swear it's in every single Abby Lee biography that I've read. So when Abby was 14 years old, she asked her mom if she could recruit a few of her students to start her own dance company, and her mom straight up agreed. That's right. At the age of 14, Abby Lee Miller founded the Abby Lee Dance Company, or ALDC for short. The company at the center of the Dance Moms dynasty. She started it at 14. That's like her, love her, or leave her. That's pretty incredible at 14, right?
And then her kids were dancing at the Fontainebleau with the Rat Pack and Elvis Presley. Mm-hmm. When the band took a break, my mother's girls performed.
Got it.
So I was in Pittsburgh. I was doing my once-a-week dancing school. I was a Girl Scout. I took ice skating and roller skating, and I played the clarinet. I was on the swim team. I did everything, and nothing well.
I mean, this is like one of those moments where people they turn it into a meme and then it just makes you feel lazy as hell. Like, did you know that they were only this old when so-and-so did this? You know, like Orson Welles directed Citizen Kane, I think when he was like 25. Prince, my beloved Prince, dropped in 1999 when he was only 23. I think his first album he recorded all the instruments for when he was like 17, 18, 19, something nuts. Even Gidget the Taco Bell Chihuahua said "Yo quiero Taco Bell" when she was only 3, which is, I don't know, is that like 28 in human years? I don't know. And here we are with Abby Lee Miller flexing on everyone by opening a whole ass dance company when she was only 14. So I feel like a massive underachiever, but okay, I will deal with that later. Now, obviously, it wasn't some kind of overnight success thing where she was, screaming at children and molding young minds for better and worse when she herself was a young mind. But Abby figured out what she wanted to do at an early age, and she did it, which honestly, I can applaud 14-year-old Abby for that. Like, it's pretty rare to be that driven at that age. Now, when she was just 22, she got a $540,000 loan and opened a dance studio on Salzburg Road in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the same location that was open until around December 2022. We'll find out what happened to that a little bit later because it ain't good. And one of Abby's biggest innovations to her studio was an observation deck for her students' moms so that they could watch the classes themselves. And also, according to Abby's Pittsburgh Magazine profile, so that the moms would stop, quote, whining when the children didn't get a solo, which kind of really smart, right? If you think about it, that's really smart. Then the parents get to watch their kids, and if their kids, you know, like aren't like really that great, then the parents could see it happening and not maybe blame the choreographer, maybe. Anyways, I don't know. So over the years, Abby made a bit of a name for herself regionally and even nationally as a dance instructor and saw varying degrees of success in the field. By the end of the 2000s, Abby was spending a few weeks in Los Angeles. So sometimes Abby says it was Vegas, so like, I don't know, like let's just say like a Vague Angeles, Las Vegas, Los Vegas, not get it, Los, whatever, I'm trying, people. With a friend by the name of John Corella, a former competitive dancer who had founded the Corella Dance Company. The two of them would share stories about what it was like working at dance studios. The conversation naturally pivoted over to a show that was big on Fox at the time, So You Think You Can Dance, which if you didn't know, if you haven't watched it, that show features performers showing off their dance moves or lack thereof, because they like to do those types of moments. Abby remembers thinking about the show that the producers of this show were missing potential gold because, quote, they are missing the dance studio experience, the dance teachers, the mom and dance teacher relationship. And honestly, I wish we were still missing that because that would mean some of this it didn't exist because it didn't happen. But that's not where this story goes. What Abby didn't know is that after this conversation, John couldn't stop thinking about their talk and actually made a formal pitch for a show about an inside look at the wide world of dance studios to Brian Stinson, a producer who liked the pitch enough to present it to a man named Jeff Collins, who pitched it to a Lifetime. See, that's sometimes they go that easy. A pitch, and then there you are. You're a bitch. But in reality, yeah, it's kind of like playing telephone for pitches and some time for bitches. I'm sorry, Petty is trying to, I will reel it back in, okay? I'm sorry. But you know, with these pitches, Lifetime were thankfully the end of the line for the show that they described as a cross between Real Housewives and Toddlers and Tiaras, and they greenlit the concept for John and Brian, and not Abby, but more on that in a second. Now, originally, the show was allegedly set to be more of a documentary-style look at 5 different mothers of child dancers across 5 cities to show the differences a city can make on the socioeconomic status of a child in dance. And I'm already bored saying that out loud because no one wants to watch that, you know, whatever. But John and Brian didn't like any of the moms in those other cities. They only liked the moms in Pittsburgh. As Abby Lee would later claim, it was because, quote, they decided there was a whole lot of crazy in Pittsburgh. Clearly her words, not mine. Okay, hi Pittsburgh, love you. Mwah. Now, according to Christy Lukasiak, one of the moms picked in the casting call, it was the fact that the women weren't just talking about dancing or their daughters or how proud they were. Literally every mom picked referenced one another, and as Christy put it,
this casting director realized that all of the moms that he liked were all from the same studio. And all of our tapes, we weren't just talking about dance and our daughters, we were all talking on each other. And he was like, hold on a minute here. He's like, there's a little bit, like you have the Toddlers and Tiaras element to it because the kids were dancing and talented and the glitter and the makeup and the hair and all of that. But then you had these moms that had this really long history with each other, which was kind of unusual because most reality shows, they cast people, and yeah, like maybe the housewives know each other from a party and stuff, but we were women who had been sitting next to each other for years, and we had like all of this history and this dirt on each other that we were like still willing to bring up at a moment's notice, which is half the reason why we fought so much, because it wasn't that we were fighting about what you thought we were fighting about, is we were still mad about something and it happened 5 years ago. He got these casting tapes and he quickly realized that he liked asked moms from the studio, and they were like, oh, maybe there's something with a teen.
Now, from the start, John and Brian had Abby involved in a number of ways, with a casting call being posted at her studio and on her website. Now, the first mom hired for the show was a woman named Kathy Nesbitt Stein, who the production thought was quirky. Her daughter was Vivian Stein, a 6-year-old musical theater and tap dancer. Wow, that's a lot of things to be achieving at 6 years old. Bravo, way to go, that's awesome. And Kathy convinced Kelly Hyland to come on next, a former dancer herself who had even been taught by Abby when she was younger. Her daughters were Brooke Hyland, a 13-year-old Afro-contemporary dancer and singer, and Paige Hyland, a 10-year-old Afro jazz dancer and model. Now, and none of these girls were actually students of Abby's originally, but were cast on the show just for being the fit that the producers wanted. But next up was Melissa Ziegler-Gassani, who was the mother of 2 girls who actually had trained under Abby. So 6-year-old Mackenzie Ziegler, as well as a name you might already recognize, 8-year-old Maddie Ziegler, a lyrical, contemporary, and tap dancer. And if you didn't already know, yes, this is the same Maddie Ziegler from the Sia videos and like a bazillion other dance videos. We will come back to some of that a little bit later. Now, from there, the producers brought on Holly Hatcher Frazier, the mother of 9-year-old contemporary dancer Nia Frazier, aka Nia Sue, Christy Lukasiak, the mother of 9-year-old Chloe Lukasiak, a lyrical / contemporary and ballet dancer from Mars, Pennsylvania, and Gianni Martello, an instructor covering all genres of dance. But what good is a show about a dance studio drama without a dance studio? So enter back to the scene the Abby Lee Miller Dance Studio and Abby Lee herself, who was hired as the show's choreographer. But it's worth noting that the cast of the show changed relatively often for a number of reasons that I will cover later. Not all of them, but several of them. But that also means that some of the most famous names in Dance Moms history weren't in this original batch. You got names like Kira Gerard, who was the mother of contemporary and lyrical dancer Kalani Hilliker, or Jessalyn Siwa, the mother dearest of JoJo Siwa. Now, as someone who wasn't too familiar with Dance Moms before I started looking into the behind-the-scenes drama, if you will, of the show, I was a little surprised to find out that Kalani and JoJo come on much later than the original girls. We'll talk more about them later, but for now, just know that they're like not part of the initial experience.
The zone is ours.
So if the premise didn't end up being what was initially pitched, what did it end up becoming? Well,
Don't cry! Don't you dare cry! Shush!
Not, I was wondering, listen.
Christy and I! You idiot! Christy and I! Little snake!
How dare you call my daughter me? She's not a me.
believe it or not, that's not actually what most of Dance Moms is. And Your Honor, let the record reflect. These compilation clips titled Abby's Wildest Freakouts She Lashes Out are all published to the actual Dance Moms channel. Like, they're just like, they are loud and proud of this woman lashing out at and around kids. So, you know, do with that what you will. I know what I'm going to do with that later. I'm just going to throw it in the trash. But, you know, some people find this entertaining.
Even though she was a lot better than Kendall and a lot stronger, she didn't blow me away either. She was a kid that had the potential to make it, to have a career in this business, not have her own integrity, her own ambition to get out of the car and walk in. She wanted to
But yeah, that's not what most of Dance Moms actually is. The show follows the ALDC's Junior Elite Competition team, which is a team of dancers that are all between the ages of 6 and 13, traveling every week to a different dance comp to win awards and prepare for nationals. All the while, Abby claims that she's training the girls to be, quote, a professional, employable, working dancers. Now, Abby would conceptualize the dancers alongside her instructors and the show's producers, and she was usually the one who did the choreography. Now, the show followed the moms around, and just so some people know, because like I think this is like a question that pops up. I'm a dancer. I'm a musician, recording artist, and performer. I've done a lot of touring, all that kind of stuff. And I've worked with several choreographers, but I have one that I work almost exclusively with often. And there are a lot of choreographers in this industry that they choreograph by title. That they're basically putting it all together together, but they're not necessarily creating all of the moves, nor are they necessarily teaching the dancers. They oftentimes will have an assistant who actually does all of that work, if that makes sense. I know there are a lot of times when people will be like, how is she like the choreographer and like doing all of these intricate dance stuff? And the answer is she's not, most likely. She would, oftentimes choreographers have assistants who do the heavy lifting in that regard. So anyways, so the show followed the moms around and in typical reality TV format painted them as each other's rivals who argued and
Hi, I'm from South Africa. A lot of people ask, where exactly is South Africa? Well, it's right over here at the bottom, the south of Africa. It's a country. Some people think it's a continent. It is not. Now, what is South Africa famous for? Nelson Mandela, and also The Ultimatum South Africa, which is a new series on Netflix that just came out. The Ultimatum is a series created by Nick and Vanessa Lachey, famed for their other series, Love is Blind. And if you're not already blinded by love, maybe you'd watch The Ultimatum, a show in which contestants propose the question, either marry me or move on. That already sounds like a load of bullshit. And that's because it is. The series was something a lot of people watched when it came out, a lot of people judged, rightfully so. And we thought this was just going to be swept under the rug. But the show has proved to be so successful, it actually has a spin-off. And the country they chose is my home country. So when I got tagged in hundreds of posts about it, I took a look at it. And let me tell you, I just want to shout out all my cousins in South Africa right now watching this for not being on the show. Because if you were, I would have roasted your ass.
No, please.
It is definitely something to see your home country be put on blast like this. And I will say right now, this show starts off like,
oh wow, this might actually work.
And the way it ends is like, oh my god, never show this again. I think this is like the American version on steroids.
What do you mean?
It has a lot of crazy things, and I for once feel kind of qualified to more or less sit with you through this experience and go on a ultra deep dive into the whole series. I hope you join me for this. It's something I never thought that was gonna happen. I never even had this on my radar, but here we are. And just to make this experience even better, I bought biltong. For anybody who doesn't know, biltong is like this famous South African food where they dry meat. It sounds not as delicious as it tastes, but I already ate most of this because I'm that South African. Please, by the way, consider subscribing. I really want to get to a number higher than what I am right now.
Or at least be higher.
It's going to be a long deep dive. Sorry to take you away from the video. After moving, I realized I had a lot of time on my hands and I wanted to expand the team. So I am looking for new editors. These editors will fall into two categories, one for my main channel where I do deep dives, and another for a second channel in which I do some side quests and travel videos. You can apply by clicking the link below. There you'll have access to a drive full of footage, and you can apply for the deep dive position or the side quest position. Now, I will say this is for more advanced editors because we're looking to expand the channel and have people who understand storytelling, pacing, edits, transitions, sound effects, and a lot that goes into editing. Of course, this is a full paid position, and if you need to know anything else, you can message me either on my Instagram or on my email, which I will leave below, and there is more information once you click the links. Best of luck to you. I hope I get to talk to you soon. Okay, back to the video. As I said, the Ultimatum South Africa takes place in South Africa, meaning Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey are obviously not there, but they have the African versions of them, so that's, I guess, cool. Like I said, I'll take you through anything that you might want to know. This is probably going to be some stuff I don't even know because I haven't been there in a very long time, but I can't wait to see what unfolds. Let's watch.
This social experiment, the Ultimatum South Africa.
Also, I am going to grade each contestant by the end of it, from A to F, because each of them definitely deserves a grade, and I think you'll agree with me. So do it in your head as you watch, because some of these contestants are like, oh, ooh, there's a lot of that.
One person in each couple wants to get married, while the other doesn't.
Right, so exactly. One person, there's a couple. One person wants to get married, the other doesn't. So they issue an ultimatum. Either marry me or move on. But what does that mean? Well, nothing if you're just talking to your own company, but when you have a group of 5 people who all say that, what happens is a giant orgy. People move around and they find a new partner to get married to for 3 weeks. During that 3 weeks, they can do whatever they want want because they're technically broken up with their partners. Is this legal? Yes, but it's probably frowned upon knowing that this is more just like the movie Hall Pass, where for a short amount of time you just have the right to bang someone because on TV it says this is now your ex.
I'm gonna try to nail the receptionist.
In reality and ethically, I don't know if this is a thing, but after the 3 weeks, they reconnect with their original partners and see whether they're ready to propose. So basically, in layman's terms, they break up with their partner for 3 weeks to get to have sex with someone else, then they come back and now they either marry their partner or they break up forever. That doesn't sound like a series. This sounds like a serious problem.
My name is Tsepo Hausa Moses.
And I'm Salamina Mosese.
Ah, yes, the Mosese is there. Nick Lachey, Mosese, Nick Mosese. That's it. I should have known.
Welcome to the ultimatum. You're all here because you need some clarity in your relationships in order to move forward.
That's not actually that. They would go to therapy if they needed clarity. They're all there because they want anarchy in their relationship. If you want clarity, you go to a therapist. If you want anarchy, you call up Nick Lachey and you ask him to do something for you. That's what's happening.
We were in varsity together, and Genesis used to stare at me every time I walked to class.
Oh, okay, so the first couple, Tabi and Genesis, been together since college. They've been together for 7 years, which is a long time to then do this thing and be like, for 3 weeks, you're going to go somewhere else and sleep with someone else or do whatever. That's crazy. I can't imagine being in a relationship for a very long time with someone and then switching it up this hard. But this is really going to test their relationship.
I know he tells me it's because of finances.
So Genesis and Tabi say that because of finances, they're not getting married. And Tabi wants to get married, but Genesis is the one who is uncertain. So Tabi gives him the ultimatum. Is it important who gives who the ultimatum? Not really. By in general, girls give guys the ultimatum because they're ready and the guys aren't. However, in this case, one guy is ready and the girl isn't. It doesn't really matter. It just shows that people are in different stages of their lives. They're also at different ages. So I don't know why this is such a big deal, but I guess this is part of the ultimatum.
But he can't save up money to marry me. He's scared.
I have everything about her. I love a mind, a heart, a body. I mean,
South Africans don't pronounce the R. This is what I'm weird case, but like he's scared. It's like South African. Like, American people are like he's scared. I'm getting back into my South Africa roots. Old town. Oh, it was good.
I decided to give Nkateko the ultimatum because if you want to take me off the market, you do the push-up.
So the next couple we meet is Kanya and Nkateko. These two are something. Nkateko, okay, is a pretty cool guy. Kanya, I like to call Kanye West. And she is very much like current day Kanye West.
What is it fuck me for? By the end of the week, each of you will have to choose a new partner to live with in what we call a trial marriage.
I wish trial marriage was a thing. I mean, trial products is a thing. You look at Adobe or whatever, you're like, they give you 2 weeks. If you don't like it, you don't need to use it. Why don't we have that? Boyfriend, girlfriend. That's not a trial period. That's commitment. I need a trial marriage. I need like, I do with a question mark. Do you take this girl? I do? I think so. I don't know. We'll try. I need that. Just sounds like I'm really not committed. I think it's the biltong.
I want to leave you with an old African proverb. Love.
Anyway, the hosts say love, and that's the African proverb, and then everyone gets to dating. So now is the speed dating round, where everyone gets to know each other. And you will notice there is mostly African couples and one white couple. You call them Afrikaners. I am kind of sad because I am from a different part of the city where they filmed this, and there's a lot of like a brownish people where I come from.
Wakanda forever! No, no, no.
I was so hoping that they would find 2 brown people because I know how funny brown people are. They're hilarious. Ultimatum South Africa. Please, if you ever get people from Chatsworth or Phoenix, I will pay you good money to see those people because that would get your show 10 times the ratings. I promise you. Anyway, I wish they had a little more diverse. I can't believe I'm saying this. Because South Africa is very much more diverse. You have lots of different people, and I thought I was going to see like a lot of different. But either way, I guess I'm glad that they do have representation. So
I was ready.
And then
I saw those ladies, man.
The third couple is Ruth and Isaac. I think Ruth issues Isaac the ultimatum because she's ready and she doesn't know if Isaac is.
I am actually giving Isaac the ultimatum because I can't come where you stay. I don't know where you stay with. I can't meet your family members, and I can't call you. I must only text.
I don't know if it's for finances, but the main problem Ruth also has is that Isaac hasn't got Ruth to meet his family yet. So she feels like she's always doing things in privacy, which is sending her to reality television.
Shake it off and apply your training.
That's definitely one way of dealing with it, Ruth.
Have you ever had those moments where you doubt me?
All the time. Let me tell you something. You know one thing that you actually don't do? Be like, hey baby, how's your day going?
Okay, so she's issuing the ultimatum and everything seems fine. I thought they were just, you know how they have that nice music, they're kissing, you zone out, you're like, woohoo. And then they start having like the tense music and you zone back in, you're like, oh, someone said something and someone doesn't like it. So I was like, what the hell? And he basically said, you don't actually consider my feelings. That's sort of his thing. So this is the first time we've seen a couple where the guy is like, actually, you also have a few issues that I'm trying to work out too. And it's very important to know that the person issuing the ultimatum is not always the one ready for a relationship. Believe it or not, in most of these circumstances, the people who are issuing the damn thing are probably trying to get taken off the market instead of figure out who they are. And that's pretty scary because if you think you're ready and then you're like, actually I wasn't, then it becomes an issue.
Hey, you're making me feel bad.
Let's not think of it now.
My biggest issue is his communication is poor and also him being a flirt.
Okay, so the next couple is Lebo and Nola. And the problem with Nola, apparently, is that he is a big flirt.
Oh, hey. I did not go to bed.
And so bringing him on a show where he gets to flirt with other people and then enter a trial marriage is some of the dankest shit I've ever heard in my life. Lebo, what are you doing? If a man is a flirt, you don't take him to the strip club, okay? You take him to therapy, okay? All right, cool. Why? What the hell?
I don't know if him spending time with another woman is the answer.
That's not the answer, Lebo, Gogo. That's not a thing. Okay, I don't know why she brought him here, but she's like, okay, I want him to marry me, but he's being too flirty, so I'm gonna let him sleep with other women. Stupid. I don't know if she lets him sleep. The whole point of the trial marriage is just to work on your communication and miss the other person. That's kind of one of the worst things that would happen on the series. I feel like anybody, if you're living with someone else, would not do that. But yeah, Lebo takes him here, and she's ready to get married, but he's a flirt.
But I hope when he comes back a better communicator.
Isn't that like a weird thing though? Like not with Lebo, but like the weird concept that like, okay, we're not getting married. Let's go on reality TV. You get to trial marry someone else. Maybe you can learn how to communicate with them. Then you leave them and you come back to me and you're like, finally I understand. I guess it's the idea that like, you know, sometimes you're in a relationship with someone and you let them go or they let you go and you work on yourself and you get better. But this is full. And also it's other people who are also angry and passive aggressive. And there might be some passive-aggressive sex happening. I guess it's kind of like real life, huh? Even the cameras. Woo! All right. Finally, we meet the whitest couple. Sorry. And that's Aiden and Courtney. And I'm just going to say, I like them. I didn't know if I liked them. I know that South Africa has a very checkered history with different people of different colors. If you don't know what I'm talking about, until 1991, officially, we were segregated. But these are two of the nicest people that I've seen on the show. So I'm a big fan of them.
In Mossel Bay, there's a lot around marriage that scares me. There's so many people that have been together for decades and still end up getting divorced.
Okay, so Courtney issues Aiden the ultimatum, but Aiden's like, I'm scared, bro. I can't do it. I don't know. People get divorced all the time. Okay, all right, cool. I get it. Everyone is scared of divorce. I'm scared of divorce, actually. And I know it sometimes is a very scary concept, but it's just as well to, if you're dating someone for a while, marriage is just now she has a big ass ring on her hand. So don't overthink that one, Aiden.
It's just so much more of a painful procedure than if it's just a breakup.
Ah, okay. Saying this as a guy, he's really like, it's like, you know, it's like ass cheeks and you do a fuck. Because if you say that in front of a girl, it almost insinuates that like it's easier to break up with you, Courtney. I'm going to leave. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to fuck off. It's like, all right, cool. Not really a good thing because you don't want someone to feel like they're expendable. Hence the security of marriage. But now he's like,
it's just painful procedure to get married. I mean, divorcing will be way harder for me.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't want someone to feel like that's the reason you're not getting married, because it would be harder to divorce. Because you're not even thinking of that, right? Get the prenup. All right. Ah, my bad. There's one more. There's another one. And this is Caesar Killer, and my boy, I forget his name, Lindele. Of course. How could I forget?
I feel like I'm in an age where I only need people who I want to grow with in my life right now.
And he's the only guy who gives the girl the ultimatum. He feels like he's ready and he is waiting, and she's not the one saying yes. So he has that distinction of being the only guy here who is ready and mature. Lots of the other guys, it would be like a little bit like, are they going to mess around? And for one instance, it's going to be like, is the girl going to mess around? Very interesting. Now, what could happen in a show like this where everyone's feelings are in the air? Some people want to get married, some people don't. Just throw out some asses. Possible feelings of jealousy, cheating, anger, pent-up aggression, lack of communication. Exactly. All of that is rolled into one big deep dive. That is kind of how the show is predicated on. It's just a lot of stuff rolled into one, a lot of people throwing out a lot of words, and sometimes emotions, and even fists, because nobody can control how they really feel. But anyway, it's 1 week until they make the choice of who they're going to swap their partners with. Wife swap, huh? It's Jesus.
They are making their way here to meet up again and start the process.
I see Lindile walking my direction and I can just feel my heart pounding.
Imagine like dating someone for like 7-8 years and then seeing the show back on the rerun and like looking at your partner or someone else being like, ooh, look at that fine. I know I've been going out with this guy for 7 years, but as soon as I saw the other men, I was like, wetter than Niagara Falls, bitch. You don't want to hear your partner instantly taking an attraction to someone. You'd kind of hope that if they have 1 week to choose, they ease into it rather than, all right, bye, and then like, whew.
What do you do? I'm an entrepreneur.
Oh, nice. What do you do for a living?
I'm an entrepreneur.
So what do you do?
I'm an entrepreneur.
Basically, that means she doesn't do anything. If anyone says they're an entrepreneur, that means they do nothing. Unless you're Jeff Bezos, in which case, give me the money, please, boss. Yeah. She didn't even elaborate on it. She's unlike Kanye West, actually, because at least I know what Kanye West does. Kanye West gives some good Adidas shoes, even though he doesn't like Adidas or something. But this one, I think she does curtains.
So you're a workaholic?
No, I'm not. Never been on a speed date before, so I feel like it's a bit exhausting.
Yeah, that's why they call it a speed date. You need to take speed to be on it.
Stupid. I feel like I'm just irritating her.
Entrepreneur is important because you never know what the person is doing.
Until you ask, and then they let you know, but you haven't asked.
What do you do for a living?
Imagine asking someone what they're doing and they're like, entrepreneur. And then you have to keep asking, like, so what? Okay, all right, so you've said a word now. Say more. Oh, you sell things. Do people buy them? Like, Jesus Christ, this woman. I don't know. She's already, if everyone started as an A+, she already fell a tier below this now. If I have to like wrestle answers out of someone, I don't think I want to do that.
No, but you haven't asked. What do you do? I'm an entrepreneur.
I love Genesis' face. I really, honestly, if Genesis ever is watching this, please, bro, let me like have a sticker off your face. I'll put a cutout behind here. I love how big his eyes get. It's quintessential. Genesis, one of my favorite. He's going up.
What are your red flags?
Lies and more lies. Like I can't stand lies and liars.
Look at his eyes. He's like, what? You can't stand lies? He's like so animated. When his eyes are big, you're like, oh, this guy's really concentrating. And then when you say something that affects him, he's like, really? I've never seen someone scrunch their face like that. He's like an animated dude.
Yeah, do you like being challenged?
Yeah, because I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah, look at that. He was so happy. This is why I love my home country. It's my dream of mine to do stand-up there because the amount of like laughs that I would get, and not just that, I would see people literally hurting and falling back from their chairs. South African people like to laugh, but they don't just like to laugh. They physically, like, they throw themselves back. Their head goes, ha, 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 ha. It's like, it's beautiful. It's not the chuckling shit that like English people do. Good one, chap. None of that shit. This is actual laughter.
All the guys that I met are like 6 and 7s out of 10. What's the craziest?
Okay, so Kanye West doesn't like any of the guys. She thinks they're all mid. I think Kanye's mid, so.
What's the craziest thing you've done?
Walk on top of a bus while it's moving.
I find myself laughing and smiling. All these feelings make me immediately attracted to him.
So already Courtney is attracted to Genesis. And she even asked, what's the craziest thing he's done? I thought she meant like, you know, in bed. And he says, walk on top of a bus. Stupid. What an answer that is. I don't even know how to take that. That's such a wholesome way to react. If someone said, what's the craziest thing you do? I'd be like, you. And I don't know what way. I guess I'd take a gamble. Does she like me calling her crazy? I don't know. Point is, this is wholesome and I like it.
I don't know if it's love or lust at this point.
Love? I'm sorry. Love. After you just met the, what? Genesis. Okay. Sega Genesis. You just met him. Now you want to play him? Now you want to put your CD-ROM in him? No, she's the girl. Okay, the point is, what? Aiden's right there still. You got 1 week. Chill out, Courtney. God.
Red looks good on you.
No, it does, right? Thanks.
Yeah, makes me lose concentration a bit.
Caesar. Okay, all right. Well, it's day 1 and already.
Oh, they're crying as well. Look at the girl on the right.
There are going to be Muslims in their class.
Yeah, dude. They're going to be forced to wear the hijab.
Let's go.
Let's go.
At least for now, at least, and hoping the rest of the night is borne out by the initial promise.
You're covering the headline. It doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, France's left wing new popular front is currently leading in the exit polls. We'll watch the Mélenchon speech.
Candidates, we decided to fight. My commitment in this campaign was a responsibility.
They're going to guillotine Le Pen, dude. That's what they have to do. This is how it works.
Majority dominated by France Insoumise and the risk of a majority by the nationalist rally, and also risk of a movement that incarnates our ideas and values. These 3 risks were in fact set aside by the French people. This evening, there's no absolute majority that can be obtained by the extremes, and we owe this to this French spirit, which is so deeply attached to the Republic and to its values. And this evening, the political current that I represented during the selection, that of the Republic, and that of progress, that of authority and of work, that of the ecological transition and the European construction, is certainly alive and well. Thanks to our determination, thanks to the strength of our values, we were able to hold. We are upright and we have 3 times more MPs than some of the polls said at the beginning of the campaign. Of course, I have a thought for all candidates who are representing the Republic, and also for those who sadly lost the selection. And I'm also thinking of those who decided to withdraw between the 2 rounds. And I'd like to thank each and every one of them, express my affection and my absolute loyalty.
Just to run a bad luck operator. Shake it off and apply your training.
Dude, I've been hitting up a lot of the Frenchies that I've been hitting up have been very, very excited. They were legitimately terrified of Le Pen. I'll be honest, I did not think. I do have to give flowers. I do have to give the flowers to the reverse of what happened in Nazi Germany to the mother Republicans here, okay? Respect to Macron, okay, for pulling it off, and then even caving and capitulating and saying, no, we have to collaborate with the left. Legitimately, this is a very unexpected French W. Okay, let me explain something to you guys. Very, very unexpected French W. It partially happened as a consequence of the left actually getting together and not thrashing one another in the lead up and creating the new popular front. If they had not done that, if they literally did it like they did last time, where all of the Greens, the Socialists, Communists, every other party was like anti-Mélenchon, if they did the same thing they did last time around, which gave Macron more staying power in the French parliament last time around, even though what is it, Unbowed, France Unbowed, like the Mélenchon's party was unironically doing fairly well. It was in third place. If the French left had not gotten together and got their in order, it would have been a massive far-right W. It would have been a far-right victory. They got together, they showed unity, and they forced, because of Macron's overwhelming unpopularity, they forced the Republicans to basically bow down to the new Popular Front. And I will say, I don't think the Democratic Party would have ever done a similar thing in the United States of America if there was an actual social democrat that won the Democratic primary somehow. Okay, this is massive. This is genuinely a massive sea change. Macron was telling his candidates to stay in the race to give seats to the far right. Wait, really? No, I thought that, like, in case you missed it, a Macron, his candidate, said today that he was dropping out to block the far right in spite of getting a personal request about Macron not to do so. That's actually kind of surprising, because I don't believe this, because overall I'm pretty sure Macron and many of the party leadership literally said, like, no, we are going to collaborate. We are going to collaborate, and whoever has the best chance of winning, you have to vote for them. In districts, this is basically what happened. The center stopped punching left for once, and the left won over the far right. It's really not too complicated. Exactly. One thing that helped NFP is 90% of its leading heads aren't decrepit dinosaurs. Yeah, they definitely did not pull the. They definitely did not pull the Democratic Party move. Also, another major problem, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is Mbappe. Marine Le Pen, like a dumbass that she is, was on perhaps one of the most popular French, like one of the most popular people in France in general, leading up to the second round of the election, which is so stupid. Why the you do that? Like, it makes no sense. It's not a joke. Like, literally. That's not even a joke. Most of the most famous French football players are like of African origin usually, and Le Pen is unironically very racist. So when she shit on Mbappe, you know, it was cooked. She just couldn't dial back racism. She couldn't dial back the racism until she got over the finish line. Okay. It's like hating on LeBron in Cleveland right before the finals. Yeah, exactly. It's so stupid. France 24 was so surprised by the exit poll they forgot to change the graphics. Republicans unaffiliated right wing together presidential majority, unaffiliated left wing new popular front. Yeah, the percentages are here. Far right alliance 132 to 152, much larger share of the vote than the 172 to 192 on the new popular front. Anyway, only 50% of Macron voters voted for a leftist against far right, when 74% of leftist voters voted for centrists against far right. Yeah, sports accounts literally turned against Le Pen. It is very stupid. It is a very, very stupid thing to do. You shouldn't do that. You should not on some of the most famous people in the country leading up to an election because of your unimaginably racist principles. Le Pen forgot what got her to this level of prominence to begin with, which was dialing back the anti-Semitism, dialing back the racism, so she could be like, oh, that was the old me. That's the real me. She pulled the exit valve of racism, and it backfired on her in an unimaginable way. Anyway, let's take a look at France Unbound. France Unbound, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, Prime Minister Attal should step down. Let's take a look.
Campagne électorale. At the end of this electoral campaign, notre peuple a voté, where everybody was confronted with their choices. The people finally has chosen, and I can only recognize the efforts made by all those who finally arrived at tonight's results, and I can only hail those who accepted to run, those who accepted to step down, and all those who went door to door, face to face, to convince everyone, and at the end obtain a result which was claimed to be impossible. There was a huge effort of civil responsibility. We can only admire this at a time when political life seems to be receding. we were able to push the threat away. Tonight, the National Rally is far from having the absolute majority that seemed to be within reach a couple of weeks ago. Quite the opposite. It's a huge relief for a huge majority of people in the country, those who make up the new France and those who have always loved France with Republican passion. These voters were concerned that now they can be reassured they have won.
Avec ces bulletins de vote, une majorité a fait un autre choix.
With their ballots, the majority made a new choice for the country. The will of the people must be strictly respected, and from now on, no arrangement, no combination will be acceptable.
Les leçons du vote sont
Indeed,
sans appel.
The lessons of this vote are quite clear. The defeat of the president and his coalition have been confirmed.
Le président doit s'incliner et admettre cette défaite sans temps.
They fixed the graphic afterwards to reflect the actual seats.
Nice this defeat. And should not attempt to circumvent it in any way. The Prime Minister.
How much of this affects Palestine? Both Keir Starmer, from what I understand, Keir Starmer putting an attorney, putting like a pro-Palestinian person, and I think I saw Keir Starmer also say that like they are demanding a ceasefire in Gaza, and the French left is also significantly more pro-Palestinian than Macron is. So I think that like ultimately this will be good. It will create additional pressure from two massive European countries. Like this is from 6 hours ago. Starmer, Palestinian state undeniable right as a part of peace process. This could be lip service, but it definitely is like, I mean, I would say that it's a pretty solid start. Yeah, like Keir Starmer in a call with Benjamin Netanyahu called on him to bring about an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. And I'm pretty sure the New Popular Front's like attitude towards Palestinians is significantly better than Macron. So much so that like Mélenchon has been called an anti-Semite, which in France is like might be good for his re-election chances in general. But yeah, it is actually pretty good, I think.
Must step down. Indeed, he never received the trust of the National Assembly. He's just run this campaign that his camp has lost, and this was a complete disavowal by the people. It is the president's duty to call on a new Popular Front to run the country.
Celui-ci y est prêt.
The new Popular Front is ready. It will abide by the mandate given by its candidates. It will be as good as its word. The new Popular Front will apply.
Wasn't Keir Starmer pro-Israel in the lead up to election? He was definitely baby in terms of his criticisms against Israel for most of the election, and maybe he's like flipping it on. Maybe he was a real socialist. Maybe he was doing a secret. Maybe he was just like secretly appearing to be center right while he was simultaneously the realest one of all. Like I said, like I joked about before, like maybe he was just like ousting Corbyn because he wasn't. He was ousting Corbyn because Corbyn wasn't hardcore enough. He's a secret Stalinist. He is like, yeah, no, none of this like worker council bull. Like we're doing full centralization. Okay, the countryside belongs to the peasants. We're gonna give them back. We're doing cooperative ownership, all controlled by the federal government. That's what Starmer's attitude is. Keir Stalin. Damn. Keir's a Trotskyite. Entryism works. No. He's not. He's a fake Trotskyite. Even though he was younger, in his younger days. He's just dropped. He elevated his stances. He's actually a Stalinist. Yeah, he's building the Vanguard Party. The Labour Party is going to change its name to the Vanguard Party.
Its program, nothing but its program, but all of its program.
En effet, celui-ci forme un tout dont on ne peut
This program is a whole, none of the constituents can be separated.
It's pretty funny because, like, Mélenchon, I forget. Wait, how old is Mélenchon? So one of Mélenchon's like weaknesses in the last election cycle was how old he is, and like he's 72 years old. Okay, he's 72 years old, but like obviously he's like significantly with it, and they would say that he's like an old man, right? And that's such a funny meme to consider when you look at American politics, because he's a spring chicken in the United States of America, okay? As a 72-year-old, he's like considered one of the younger members of the party leadership. Like, French people look at him and go, oh, what are we doing? He's too old to run for office. Like, what are we doing? In America, we look at that and we're like, wow, what a vibrant young candidate. I wish we could have a vibrant young candidate like that. Like, think about that. Think about that. They literally are like, oh, he's too old. Can you imagine a world where we look at a guy like this who's 72 and go, oh man, he's just too old? In America, yeah, people call him the old man. He's very good. If you only understood French cognitively, he's at 100%. I'm just saying, it's like funny to think that like for French politics, like they look at him and they're like, oh, he's too old. He's too old to run for office. Like, why doesn't he step aside and give why doesn't he step aside and let some younger candidates run the party? And it's so funny because like from where I'm standing, I'm looking at this like 72. He's with it. This is like a beautiful person to run for the Democratic Party. Oh, he is. He's going to retire, pretty sure. I'm just saying, like, ridiculous to consider him to be an old person by American standards.
From the expenditures or the measures that are to come into force.
Les mesures prévues par ce programme peuvent être prises par décret sans vote.
From this summer on, the new measures can be adopted by decree, abrogating retirement at age 64, blocking the prices, increasing minimum wage.
Bro, by the way, I'm not, dude, remember when you guys said, why don't you meme good things into existence? Remember when I memed about Keir Starmer technically secretly being a Stalinist? Labour will renationalize Britain's railways as soon as possible, says Louise Haig, the new transportation secretary. What is going on, dude? I was just joshing, okay? I was just joking about this Keir Stalin and Comrade Starmer is just, he's with it, dude. Dingism, Starmerism. Yeah, Starmer is bringing about a regime change. He's doing socialism with English characteristics. Don't read the fine print. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I still don't believe him. I still don't like him. I still don't believe him. Like I said, I hope I'm so wrong. I hope I'm like entirely wrong about my assessment of the Labour, entirely wrong about the assessment that I made, the predictions that I made overall, that like Labour will be feckless. It will be opening up the wave for reform to take over entirely. Hopefully I'm wrong. That English characteristic transphobia. This is barely a left-wing position of Europe, to be fair. Brother, England is so far removed from the left-wing position of Europe broadly that like England is literally galloping towards an American-style neoliberal institution, okay? You don't understand. They've actually passed America on the anti-trans already, and they're trying to catch America on neoliberalization, on privatization of like other state-owned enterprise in general. or previously state-owned enterprise. So, like, low-key, this is a big move for England. Talking about England while on the French election, Hassan, you want us to begin another 100 Years' War? No, there will be no 100 Years' War because, like I said, Keir Stalin and the New Popular Front are ideological allies, okay? They are aligned with one another ideologically because they're both Maoist third worldists, okay?
Convention,
Le plan de gestion
the convening
et le moratoire sur les grands travaux inutiles.
of collective bargaining agreements.
Nous l'avons
All this work
dit la semaine
is before us. We announced it last week and we will confirm this to the President of the Republic.
Nous refusons d'entrer dans
We will not get into negotiations with this party to engage in combinations, especially having fought relentlessly for the past 7 years his policy of social mistreatment and his positions that the French people have disavowed, especially after the vote has made this so clear, and especially after the new people's front, in spite of all the blows received on all sides, all the insults, will stand up and keep and abide by the mandate given by the people.
That's a win.
From now on,
do you think Macron expected this to happen? I would assume he would do anything to kill socialism or the left. I don't think he expected this to happen. I think that he predicted that the left would not be able to organize, and what happened last time around that allowed Macron to win would happen again. But then the left actually created the New Popular Front in a matter of days. Like, they literally immediately, Macron came out of nowhere and was like, we're breaking the parliament. We're going to do a new election. His own party leadership did not even know that this was going to happen. And it was a dangerous gambit, especially because he did this immediately after the far right won massively in the European Parliament elections. For him to do this in the eve of like the nationalist momentum that was occurring in the country got everyone to go, whoa, what's going on? And I think I guess the best assessment of the situation is that Macron did this specifically because he wanted to like at least own the first 2 years. I believe he had 2 more years of the potential like nationalist parliament. So he could like in his mind he could potentially control 3 years. Sorry, thank you. He could control the like next 3 years of like a nationalist parliament, but at least he could like dial it back in his own assessment, because he probably thought, you know, yes, my party is actually very unpopular right now, and yes, the far right nationalists are gonna most likely win, but at least I can like control it a little bit and rein it in a little bit. But what ended up happening was that the New Popular Front got their shit together and created a coalition instantly. And when that happened, they got second place. The Nationalist Party got first place in the first round of the elections. And the Popular Front, comprised of a bunch of leftist French parties that previously were famously infighting all the time, got second place. And Macron's party actually lost a lot of momentum and barely got third place, like with 20% of the vote or something. Check. Can you hear me? Because of that, they had to, even if it was just a safe face, they had to get together and say, oh, in order to defeat the far right, we have to put up candidates. We have to only put up candidates that are slated to win in the second round. So what ends up happening in that situation is, like, if you have an area where like a New Popular Front candidate is going to defeat the nationalist candidate, you pull your candidate out. If you have a area where the Republican candidate is going to win over the Popular Front candidate is going to win, then you pull out the Popular Front candidate. So that's basically what happened. Sometimes dudes do in fact rock. This is how they won. Yeah, it's true. This is how they won. Yeah, there was 210 candidates from the left and center, which pulled out in the second round. It was absolutely massive and unprecedented. Yeah, they made sure not to split the vote against the far right, which was great. And in spite of it all, from what I understand, when you look at the actual results and the splits, it does seem like stronger than expected transfer from left voters to Macronists and vice versa to block RN. Yeah. Recap from Taniel. Exit polls 90 minutes ago show, surprise, left first, Macronist second, RN third. Since then, results in from many districts, they're confirming that big picture and show why stronger than expected transfers from left voters to Macronists and vice versa to block RN, which is the nationalists. What do you mean control, though? The president doesn't even have actual veto power without controlling the parliament. I don't see how 30 years of cohabitation would have helped him against the right, except to make him look like a fool. It is still stupid. Don't misunderstand me. I think it was a dumb decision regardless, but that is the only way that this makes sense. It doesn't make sense any other way. Why would he do this? He knows he's deeply unpopular. He knows that his party is deeply unpopular. He knows that the far right is growing in momentum. He literally called these elections like right after the nationalists won big in the European Parliament election. So, like, what was his internal calculation? I don't know. I have no idea what he's not stupid. His plots are just too complex for you. Yeah. He has the complexity that I cannot understand. He actually secretly wanted the left to win, I guess. They didn't win, though. They don't have a majority without an alliance with Macron. You know that, right? Who cares? Like, they'll try to the bag. They'll try to do everything that in their power to undermine the legislative agenda, but ultimately it still doesn't matter. Yeah, secret Macron. Yeah, oh no, they have to capitulate with liberals instead of fascists. How terrible. Exactly. Macron famously said, I've been preparing this for weeks and I'm delighted. I've thrown my grenade at their legs. Now we'll see how they deal with it. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, bro, he threw the grenade at their legs and then they kicked the grenade back to Macron and it exploded in his face, it seems. So I don't know. My thoughts are too complex for journalists, says Emmanuel Macron. Nobody knows what he was thinking, dude. Nobody can make sense of this man's brilliance, okay? It is his mind. His mind shatters the average political understander's expectations, okay? You cannot comprehend. You cannot comprehend what he was thinking. What is this? It's true and you know it. Emmanuel Macron apology form. Nah, NFP did all the work. Fraud. Cron got saved by the left. Is true. You think he didn't bet on this? Please don't disrespect the greatest statesman of the 21st century. Are you kidding me? I think Macron were about to himself and have the left win, dude. There's no shot. Like, I don't think it's a secret Marxist Leninist or some shit. I think people are ridiculous. the greatest statesman of 21st century. In all seriousness, I genuinely think his initial thinking when he called the election was Le Pen will win the election, her governance will be bad, which will damage her for 2027, which is so callous and sociopathic. Yeah, he's Marx Cron. Marxism, Macronism. He's a real one. This is like reverse Germany, dude. This is reverse like Germany in the lead up to the Nazi rise of power. Okay? Instead of capitulating to the far right, he ended up having to capitulate to the left, which is shocking. Macron is quiet quitting. His party spokesperson already said Mélenchon and France Unbowed cannot be left to govern France, but that their party is ready to work with the Republican parties. Yeah, first of all, it's just going to be a liberal coalition if they want to, in order to get done, they're going to have to, the new Popular Front is going to have to work with the liberals here, the Republicans. But it doesn't matter. Together, presidential majorité, unaffiliated left wing, new Popular Front. Problem is NFP leaders are signaling they will stick together. Bro, imagine the left winning in France and sends a left wave in Germany. Since the left wins now, next presidential, the far right will switch to Macron to prevent left on top. Macron hopes. I don't know about that. The American liberals are so stupid. Breaking. Paris AP, French far right falls short of expectations and trails leftist rivals in legislative elections, pollsters say. But the polls and pundits said, ... never mind. Wait, what? So are people upset about this in America? Like, I'm so confused. Like, why do you care? It's France. You know what I mean? Like, we care because we're nerds. But, like, why would any American be like, oh, I can't believe Macron is no longer in power, or oh no, like the national is lost? Like, what are we doing? Like, American Democrats are upset? Very weird. It's not even MAGA. I think it's like liberals. Anyway, let's look at Taniel. What's happening right now on TV, something very familiar in countries with a full parliamentary regime, fight over coalitions. Macronists and center-right are arguing. This is in the left wing, suggesting a center-left to center-right unity government. Left is insisting that this is a left wing. This is exactly the sort of district that is causing the shock result tonight. RN got 40% of the first round, with 6% going to another right-wing candidate. Left was at 30%. Macron has dropped out, and vote transfers ended up being quite strong. Left won by 1%. Here's one that's showing a different dynamic. An RN win in a situation where vote transfers against it weren't quite strong enough. In the Southwest District, RN had gotten 44% against incumbent left MPs 37%, with no conservative candidate eliminated. Tonight, RN won 59 to 49%. This may end up being the closest result of the night. In Dordogne 4th District, with all precincts reporting per the Interior Ministry, RN is ahead of left by 74 votes. Marine Le Pen's sister lost her bid to join the parliament. Her left opponent won by 0.5%. See below for context. Macronist, who came in third, initially said she wouldn't drop out, but then changed her mind, ended up blocking Le Pen. By the way, I will say, I mean, this is still a pretty big surge for far-right parties. That is another scary reality here, just like with reform in the UK. You know, so it's not exactly just a moment of victory to be like super stoked. This is something to still pay attention to, and there is a lot that needs to be done in order to undermine the confidence that people have in the far right in France. Same goes for the UK, okay? This is something that people need to pay attention to, and what the French government does in the upcoming years will determine whether the far right will win majorly, and the unpopularity of Macron, if that stink, if that anger and that resentment transfers to the left-wing coalition. Okay, if they personally, the liberals do everything they can to basically undermine, which they probably will try to do, if they successfully undermine the New Popular Front agenda, okay, then that feckless inability to actually commit to a legislative agenda that truly tries to improve the material conditions of the French working class and try to actively undermine the radicalism that is growing in France. If they cannot fight against this with good economic policies and change the tide on neoliberalism, next time around, the far right will win majorly. They will win big, okay? And the same exact principle stands for the UK. Same exact situation that I described in the UK. This is something to pay attention to. This is a good moment. This is a moment of victory. This is a moment of celebration. And it's great and it's wonderful, but it's still very scary, okay? I would say, however, that it's still a bigger moment of celebration than the UK for a multitude of reasons. One, because like Le Pen's staying power and popularity is more significant than reform, and the transfer of power is changing hands to an actual committed, as far as I understand, an actual committed left-wing coalition, rather than a left-wing coalition that'll still be undermined by liberals for sure, but more openly left-wing nonetheless, in comparison to Keir Starmer's like active advocacy to be like as center-right as possible in control of labor. Now we'll see what happens. We'll see what Keir Starmer does if he follows through on his promises. If he follows through on his promises to, you know, push to the center, then it's cooked, right? If he follows through on his promises to push to the center, then it is genuinely scary. Reform will gain momentum. Reform will what's up? Oh, we're celebrating French socialism and the specter haunting Europe, the specter of communism.
Our girl won.
He said our girl won? Question mark. This.
I forgot to use Turkish.
What do you mean?
I mean,
what does that have to do with anything?
The other guys.
We need to pull another chair. Okay, lock her ass in here. No, unfortunately, your girl lost, dude. Yeah, I know you're very sad.
Yeah, I love the pen.
Bro, what? Yo, that is for a kid, dude. That's a kid loss. Bring a chair. That one's gonna be too big, probably. Thank you, Alexa, for stepping in to bring a real leftist opinion into the room.
Yeah. Full acceleration.
Yeah.
We have to inoculate France against the far right by voting for the far right.
Yeah. You sound, yeah, your opinion is shared by every centrist, surprisingly. Yeah, that's how I always do it.
People saying Alexa play communist music. It'd be great if everywhere you walk is just
a song,
an anthem with you.
It kind of is like that.
This haircut's looking clean, by the way. The reaction of the RM voters as they get the results live, the videos are too funny. Hit me with some videos. Let's watch them crash and burn.
That's so good.
Okay. Gabriel Attal, sitting prime minister, is now speaking. He says this dissolution, snap election call, I didn't choose it. Veiled criticism of Macron, given a lot of reporting on Attal not knowing about Macron's decision and doing a lot more than Macron to block far right this week. Attal says he will resign as prime minister. This is not surprising. Macron has did a lot better than they were fearing, but they will lose a lot of seats. They lost like 80 plus seats, I think. They are no longer in a position to govern by themselves or nearly by themselves since 2002 like they have since 2017.
What's the rationale here? They just, like, he called it because he wanted the far right in? He wanted to disappear the left?
Dude,
What's the...
absolutely zero people. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I try to make sense of it. But, I mean, he said, my thoughts are too complex for the journalist. Yeah, you do not understand. I had a very good move here. Yeah, no, I think he's a secret Marxist Leninist. Like, he wanted the New Popular Front to win. Yeah, that's what he was doing. That's why he was like he was showing the world how unpopular and unfavorable neoliberalism is. That's why he just kept doing like comically evil shit. Yeah, if you want to retire at the age of 65, we're gonna kill you now. No one in the country wanted that. And he was like, no, but we're gonna do that to show you I'm doing this for neoliberalism.
Didn't he lower the age of consent as well? No, that's what he did. He brought it in he brought it up to like 12 or something.
Very unpopular move. Yeah. That was another way to, show that neoliberalism is bad for French. For the French.
Requesting recon at my location.
Let's spread that rumor though.
Wait, isn't his wife like 100?
Yeah, he's a reverse. Yeah, he's a reverse pedophile. Like he was predated on. Yeah, his wife was his his teacher. Someone has to be
Matt's teacher.
Someone has to be in an inappropriate relationship in France. Like if they can't, like one partner has to be of age and the other has to be underage. There's no other way to do it. On election evening, in the Bois de Vincennes, activists with a crestfallen expression who expected everything except the left in the lead. You can't tell by this. Like that guy, 100%. Like it's just that's a Nazi. That's a French Nazi. He's like, oh, yeah, Vichy France.
Universal look though. That's what they look like in Australia. He looks like he's on hunger strike until the Nazis get back in.
Yeah, it's a classic. That's a classic Nazi phenotype right there. Aww.
A girl staring directly at us.
Another, dude, that last one is also another classic.
Yep.
Another classic look. Dude.
We control 2 objectives.
This is how we have to rest. RNC.
Yeah, we're trying to go into the RNC. By the way, one thing to note is that like the French right is pretty young, which is scary to consider. French left is pretty young. French right is also pretty young. What happened?
Alors une réaction?
Backwatch! R.I.P. Buzzer!
Réaction? Comment vous vous sentez?
Déçu, mais on va continuer demain.
Yeah. This is, please put the reactions on RN voters under this tweet.
Oh, they're older. That's
Yeah, this is more normal. This is more, but
they're younger.
No, they still have young people, dude. It is like this is the coalition for the nationalists. Like, it's like a bunch of young people and like super old races, like old school races that are like, they want to bring back Vichy France. They were there. They were collaborationists. Once again, hogwatch, French hogwatch, it hits the same. I need you to understand something. This is why I always say, like, there is a universality to politics, and that is like everyone is in love with watching the hogs cry. This is like watching pigs squeal is always delectable. I want to watch him cry.
Oh, he's already cried.
Oh. We will not be able to kill the Muslim. This is so sad. So there's going to be a kebab shop in every corner. No! Funny, right as you cover France politics, your commentary turns to phenotypes, and it's really telling. Yes, it's telling that at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and you thought that was a good two-parter bait, but it's not, okay? I'm on my shit. I'm back, dude. I'm back in America, goddammit. My feet are firmly planted on U.S. soil right now. Do you think you can come at me with that bull? At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. That's right, for 5 francs. Or for free was a Twitch Prime. Here's a 3-minute ad break now.
I can't tell if it's better or worse than his Aussie accent.
I mean, it sounds better, but I've never met a French person in my life.
We were racist.
Never met a French person.
No, we met one.
I watched Ratatouille.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the culture.
Yeah. What is this? There are Nazi groups on WhatsApp text calling for attacking left groups. A lot of stores are closed. They have a list of things to bring, mass, etc. Pack wash, baby. Bust out the guillotines. Isn't that what the French do? Like, that's what do you mean? If you catch them in the streets, you have to punish them. That's how it works. Anyway, this is a good day. It's a good day.
I just wish they were crying more. I want to see some actual tears.
Wait, what are they?
They're just clapping for them.
Oh, we watched this one already. Why is the translate not working?
He's double parked.
What is this? Lucas Jean-Luc?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that
this
one.
is how he won.
Cool.
This is why he won, bro. This is why he won.
What is that guy? It says
Yeah.
300 euros.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
Really?
But
You guys ever tried to man
sexy.
before?
He's sexy.
A man like that.
Yeah.
He's sexy. That's why his price is up.
Yeah.
Like if he like that guy probably goes for less, you know what I mean? We need election fraud hogs now. Why do the French hate Muslims so much? They're jealous. That's why.
Well, their croissants are based on the there you go.
I was about to
Based
make
on
a
what?
joke on that.
Based on the what?
Based
Go
on
ahead, say it.
Based on the crescent.
Yeah,
The
where
Turkish.
does that come from?
Serbia. The Turks stole it from us.
You mean the Ottoman supremacy? Is that what you were about to say?
No, we do just really...
I've been telling everybody at the basketball course that he's Albanian.
You are.
Might as well.
Anyway, yes, that's right. French croissants are because of the crescent, because of the Ottoman domination of Europe. One day we will return.
Oh, stop the steal.
Another stolen election. French Communist Socialist Bloc victorious after making a deal with Macron. Breitbart. Americans are mad that the Nationalists lost in France. Like, it's just, dude, you don't even care. You don't know anything. Shut up. Get out of here, dude. Oh, there's some tears.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He's shaking.
Hold on.
Mel. They've got kids.
Oh, they're crying as well. Look at the other eye.
They're going to be Muslim kids there.
Yeah, dude. They're going to be forced to wear the hijab. Let's go. Let's go.
They look like the kid from those AI English memes of like the little girl on the school bus. With all the laughing Muslims around.
What is this? Le racisme pleure, Jésus mort, dérive, entertainment. What? The racists are crying and really died of laughter.
Et ce soir, je pleure encore. Au-delà de... Et pour moi, c'est mourir à une surface. Pour moi, c'est pareil. Et au-delà de l'Assemblée nationale, je pense être...
Okay. Where is it? And wokeness got mad? This is insane. Macron's party colluded with the far-left socialists in order to block a Le Pen win. 200 candidates dropped out last week, coalescing against the far right. Well, the coup just paid off. The socialists won first place. It looks like France will not be saved.
Is that collusion? Is that what that means?
I mean,
I guess
technically he's not wrong, and technically and wokeness is not wrong, except that's how it works. Like, what do you mean? He's calling it a coup, but like, no, that's literally how this works. This is what happened last time as well. Yeah, it's just, it's like barely a coalition too. It's not even like a real coalition.
Like tradition over there, like when they go to the spill-offs, the person who came third just leaves.
Yeah. Breaking. President of the Parliamentary Bloc of France, Insoumise MWIII Le Pen. Within the next 2 weeks, we will recognize the state of Palestine. That's crazy. This is why I said it's like pretty good.
French people do this one too?
What do you mean?
I thought it was like a Muslim scholar kind of.
No, that's because she's an Islam. Yeah, she's saying like only one God, Allah. Yeah, she has found the light of Allah. That's right, dude. They're Islamists, dude. Yeah. Yeah. A radical wave of Islam. The specter that's haunting Europe is not communism, it's Islamism. She said this Shahada. She is going to Jannah. Like I said, we covered this already. We have there were stronger than expected transfers from the left voters, the Macronists, and vice versa, the Bloc RN. Speaking right now, Eric Ciotti, remember him? He was a head of LR/right a month ago when he unilaterally decided to ally with the RN/far right. His party rushed to throw him out. He won re-election, but a big loser tonight since he threw away his leadership but didn't win power. Ipsos, the pollster whose first exit polls are the first post in the thread, just released an updated exit poll. Ranges have gotten tighter, but the basic picture and order is the same. Just where blocks fall in, these margins could matter a lot in what happens in the coming days. Okay, so yeah, they shaved off a little bit more from the new front, new popular front. And Ensemble won a bunch more seats overall in the new polling. And RN picked up a bunch too. Breaking news, Breaking news, the propagandist from Israel, friend of Benjamin Netanyahu in the French Assembly, has lost the election. A result relevant to my followers in the U.S., the overseas district that covers the U.S. and Canada went for the Macronist incumbent. He was facing a left coalition opponent in a two-way runoff. Macronists will do very well in overseas districts, of course.
They have that? I guess they were like a global empire, but like what happened? What do you mean, people here? Just foreigners living here?
Yeah, maybe. I think so.
Oh, we're talking about like French Guiana.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
French Guiana loves Macron.
Or what's the island where they killed people recently? That's like...
New Caledonia.
Yeah, it's just like so far. It's crazy that they still...
Muslims coming to New Caledonia.
Yeah, it's so crazy that they still have that. Like, how is that allowed, bro? Like, I don't understand. Like,
doesn't America have a bunch of those as well?
Yeah, Guam.
Yeah.
It's so... But, like, it's America. You know what I mean? Like, they have 800 military bases. Yeah. We basically own Europe. We own your country. Yeah. So, like, that kind of makes sense for America, but, like, for France, I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, how do you get to control the banking system of, like, many African nations? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, but that's like, yeah, I don't understand how they still get to have territories. Like, I feel like, especially if you took a L to the Nazis, like, you shouldn't be able to maintain your territories, right? Like, you should automatically allow recognition and citizenship. Or just give it to America. To be fair, I think they referendumed it a few years back and they voted in favor or something. What? Yeah, but that was a...
Yeah, but that's because they're all...
Exactly. Yeah. No, literally. They did a referendum and then they also changed this time around they want to do another referendum and they wanted to change the amount of years that you've lived on there to be able to vote for the referendum, and they basically settled a bunch of people and were like and we're saying that, like, oh, the people who recently settled should be allowed to vote. Like, if they settled recently, they should be allowed to vote for the referendum.
Don't like it, go back. Old Caledonia.
My people are taking France over, baby. 1, 2, 3, Viva la Algeria. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, I'm a French nationalist. I think they should nationalize France. That's not what that means, I don't think. Anyway, fun fact, France shares its longest land border with Brazil. That makes no sense.
Oh, that's like French Guiana.
The pro-independence candidate won in New Caledonia, Le Mafiao. Okay, so good stuff overall for France, but let's talk about some bad stuff. What is this? French leftist leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon reacts to a video of dancing Charizard on his Instagram story. This is why he won.
Non mais, je rêve. Je ne veux pas essuyer les pieds, monte sur ma table. Retourne chez Macron. Non mais attends, je rêve.
This is why he won. Many people are saying this.
Yeah, he's up with the memes. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is all Biden has to do.
That's kind of what he does.
He can do the dancing Charizard.
He took Hillary's Pokemon Go to the
He said,
polls.
I am dreaming. He's on my table. Go back to Macron. That's what he says to the Charizard. He's telling him to go back to Macron and stop bothering him. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Well, mate.
Am I dreaming? Stop cleaning your feet on my table. Go back to Macron. What kind of leftist drinks wine out of water out of a wine glass? What do you mean? They're French. They don't have normal glasses there. What are you talking about? This is the only type of glass they own. Oh, this is... I unironically believe this played a role in Le Pen losing.
Hero of French soccer.
I'm not much of a football enthusiast, I'll be frank.
Big mistake.
No.
Big fucking mistake. Mbappe has been obviously like on the nationalists a lot.
I think that now, more than ever, we have to go out and vote. There's an emergency. We can't let our country in the hands of these people.
I believe that Mr. Mbappe is a very good footballer, but this tendency for actors, footballers, and singers to come forward and tell French people how they should vote, and particularly to people who earn 13 or 1,400 euros a month, whilst they are millionaires or even billionaires who live abroad. It's starting to not be well received in our country.
Nope. Yeah, he was like, yeah, stick to football. You make a lot of money. People are like, no, that's good. Oh, man.
People how to vote. He just said you don't represent the kind of country that he would want to play for.
Yes, well, we know exactly why he did it. I can't stand hearing any more lectures from people who know nothing about how the French are suffering.
Yeah, that didn't work, I think. I think you probably shouldn't shit on, like, one of the more popular French people on the planet when you're, like, you know, trying to win votes in an election. Why is Mbappe telling French people what to do? Because he's in French, apparently? Yeah, she's like... She didn't want to hit that angle, so she tried to be like, he's too rich to speak on this kind of stuff.
She's a social media. You don't know French? How are you meant to say it?
Mélenchon. Anyway, electronic artist Marion came out in strong opposition against the far right. Proud of our efforts. We don't want fascism. So, but yeah, let's move on from the fun stuff in France to while England has been overtaken by Maoist revolutionary. The Maoist Revolutionary People's Brigade, the countryside belongs to the peasants, Keir Stalin, he said that. Those are his direct quotes. He said he's nationalizing the railroads. He's putting all the conservatives in the mines and trapping them in the mines and closing off the mines. It's happening. Workers' councils. He's doing all of it. And then also in France, similar circumstances with Mélenchon, who is a Maoist. And meanwhile, here in the United States of America, we still have an 800-year-old demon who is refusing to drop out of the race, even though his entire party at this point is like secretly like, come on, dude. The f are you doing?
He had one bad night.
Yeah, he had one bad night.
We've had a bad night before. You're not all your streams here.
Yeah. Sometimes. Well, yeah, I too traveled. I too traveled and have jet lag, and that's why when asked the question, what will you do about abortion? How will you protect abortion? I said, immigrants, which is my least strong, issue. I went with my strongest issue, and I deflected it back to my least strong issue for some reason. Anyway. That's it. This is the guy. He will win this now, okay? They got the ogre out. They busted the ogre out, who can't even form 3 sentences to get confusion happening in the United States of America.
Return out of the
pressure mounts on Biden after ABC News interview. But beyond that, there was a lot going on. There was a press conference that took place already earlier. We got Morning Joe, which Joe Brandon tuned into, his favorite show, and kind of flubbed that goddamn interview too. The Democrats are back in D.C. Congress is back in session. And of course, now they're not just talking over Zoom calls. They're talking and maybe even whispering inside of the hallowed halls of Congress. This is a dangerous prospect for Joe Brandon, who wants to maintain his grip of power. Let's take a look at what's going on in the United States of America.
The race for the White House and President Biden struggling to save his candidacy over the weekend as senior Democratic lawmakers start calling for the president to step aside. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has the story. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, the Biden campaign had hoped that the president's big interview with you would quiet concerns from the party. But this morning, the number of Democrats calling for the president to exit this race is growing. Even some of his allies are making it clear there are still questions he needs to answer this week, warning the clock is ticking. This morning, President Biden, defiant as ever, adamant he can survive this crisis. But a growing number in his own party aren't so certain. Sources tell ABC News that
it's so funny because, like, look, Democrats are cowards across the board. So, like, obviously, even a limited number of Democratic, like, even when you hear like a little bit of chirping from this otherwise feckless institutionalist Democratic Party, you have to make the assertion that behind closed doors it is a 5 o'clock panic. Okay. Just pure and utter chaos happening behind the scenes. That, like, when you have high-ranking Democratic Party officials, senior Democratic Party members like Jerry Nadler, okay, coming out and being like, you cannot continue. What the f is going on? 5 o'clock alarm, 5 alarm. 5 alarm fire, not a 5 o'clock fire. I'm ESL. I'm ESL. Shut the fuck up. My point is, if you hear someone like Adam Schiff come out on Sunday broadcast and say, maybe it's time to step aside, if that is what you think is best, know that what they are saying behind closed doors are so much worse, okay? So much worse. You need to understand that. These guys are not exactly known to make bold claims or the bag. They are not known as, like, disruptive people, okay? Especially when there is an election coming up.
Privately, at least 4 top House Democrats told colleagues on a call Sunday it's time for Biden to end his campaign.
So I don't see the solution here, because if he drops out, it's near guaranteed Trump wins. Why? Why is that it's near guaranteed Trump wins if he drops out? Every single person that is committed to voting for Joe Biden right now is going to vote for whoever the Democratic Party candidate. The idea that, like, there are Brandon or busters in the Democratic Party is the most laughable notion I have ever even encountered in American politics over the course of the past 10 years of my professional political commentary career. Not a single person is like, I'm a Brandon or buster. I'm busting. I'm not voting if it's not Joe Brandon, okay? The only reason why there are even holdouts that are saying, no, Joe, keep going, Joe, is because they are that committed to the Democratic Party. These are the vote blue no matter who constituents. It is only you will only end up, as long as you do not, as long as this tumultuous period the chaos in this tumultuous period is kept to a minimum, okay? And they very quickly and swiftly deal with this transition, it's not even a question. They are only going to gain more votes as a consequence of this, not lose votes, okay? That is ridiculous. The moment that Biden drops out, every single person writing for him right now will immediately pivot. It will instantly end. No one will care that Biden got pushed out. Exactly. You think Harry Sisson or David Pacman or any number of, like, currently, currently defenders of current like ardent supporters of Joe Biden are not going to turn around and immediately support who is going to be put in his place? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? The only reason why they're defending Biden so vociferously is because they personally think he's the best candidate the Democratic Party has put forward, because that's what the Democratic Party signaled originally. It is that simple. Ridiculous to make any sort of assertion otherwise. Yeah, Brian Tyler Cohen. You think Brian Tyler Cohen's like, oh no, I'm sorry guys, I cannot in good conscience like vote for anyone that's not Biden? That'd be pretty funny. Do you know a single person? Do you know a single person that is a Brandon or Buster? Like a single one?
Congressman Jerry Nadler, Mark Takano, Joe Morell, and Adam Smith, joining 5 other Democrats who've made the same plea publicly. But
this is massive, by the way. Like that right there is massive. The Democrats do not ever rock the boat like this, okay?
Versus say Minority Leader Hakeem.
Yeah, like Hutch, for example. Yeah, Hutch is gonna be like, oh, dude, Joe Biden is like, Kamala Harris is put in place of Joe Biden. Sorry, I can't vote for Kamala Harris. What are you, crazy? Like, I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking of like all the people who are like unconditional dick riders of the Democratic Party, like Harry Sasson or whatever. Like, you think they're gonna be like, yeah, this new guy or gal, not it for me. No, the only person that could replace Biden that would maybe lose some votes but gain more in the long run would be Hillary Clinton, okay? Like, I don't even think personally that regardless of the charisma black hole that Kamala Harris is, I don't think that there's enough like anti-Kamala sentiment out there for people to be like, yeah, I can't vote for her. Like, maybe the fact that she's a woman or the fact that she's black, that could play a role in like maybe losing some votes overall. But I don't think that these people who are chalk committed right now to the Biden regime are going to turn around and be like, no. Every single person, you have only more votes to gain in this process. As long as it's not like a massive shakeup and it spells chaos and confusion and division in the party. As long as this is neatly and tightly wrapped up and swiftly dealt with, this transition is swiftly dealt with, it is ridiculous. The Democratic Party's platform is seen as broadly popular, significantly more popular than the Republican Party's platform. What are you basing this shit on? Polls. Every single person that is currently committed to Joseph Robinette Brandon is committed to the Democratic Party. Their vote blue no matter who's, okay? Why am I saying this? Because Biden's popularity is historically low. And the only people that defend Biden when his popularity is historically low are going to be people that are committed to the party platform. If you are personally asking, like, why am I saying that the Democratic Party is like broadly popular, or at least significantly more popular than the Republican Party? There's a thing that undermines. I don't know if you know this. Maybe you were unfamiliar with what was going on in American politics or something. But there was a decision that came down from the Supreme Court that was directly in the hands of the Republican Party. The Republican Party was responsible for it, which undermined the medical freedom and the bodily autonomy of 50% of the fucking population, especially ones living in the red states. That was pretty bad for the Republican Party. Okay, that in and of itself automatically put Democrats in a winning position, even in the midst of negative real wage growth. People overwhelmingly did not give the Republican Party a major victory in the 2022 midterm election. Are we really trusting polls, though? They were wrong for like 6 cycles. Why are we talking about polls? First of all, there is no other way to do commentary in this time. And secondly, you're wrong. Polls were not wrong for the last 6 cycles. They are not wrong. You just don't know how to read the polls. What is this attitude? Oh, you can't look at the polls. What are we supposed to look at then? Like your own personal vibes? There is plenty of other indicators. Like what? Okay, here, let's hear some electoral astrology. All right, I want to hear. What is it? Like, is your moon in Mercury? Is your Mercury in Gatorade? Is Biden a... You don't think Harris gets grilled the moment she's the runner? Yes, but Harris does not have the same negatives that Biden has, as in she is I'm not saying she's the best candidate, okay? First of all, let's make no mistake. I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris. But Kamala Harris's greatest advantage is that she is not 800 years old, okay? Now give me the indicators, because that was not what your sentiment was. You said, oh, well, about polling. You were like, oh, polls are wrong. You're wrong. Polls are not wrong. Your interpretation might have been. polls, you know, they're not the greatest way to analyze an election, but it's the best we have. So what is your way of looking at the tea leaves? I want to know. Maybe there's something that you have. Maybe there's a secret way that you have a way to analyze elections and predict election results that I have just not been privy to, and I want to be informed. Okay, I'm open-minded to the things that you are mentioning. Please enlighten me. I am waiting. 2016 they were wrong. 2022 they were wrong. 2020 less wrong. No, 2022 they were not wrong. Once again, the polls were not wrong in 2022. Your analysis of the polls might have been, but the polls were not wrong in 2022. They were actually, as a matter of fact, historically accurate. Like more accurate than even 2020, if I'm not mistaken. 2020 was pretty good. 2022 was a lot better. So answer my question. You are not giving me other indicators. What is it? Are you going to talk about the yard sign? Is that what you're going to say? Yard sign politics? Is your indicator that you went to every diner? Bumper stickers? What's your indicator? Don't want to be that guy, but they were wrong in 2016. Wait, what? I know that. We're not talking about 2016. Everybody understands that in 2016 they were wrong, as in they were wrong. They were not wrong by, 20, 30 points, but they were definitely wrong. Voter registration approval ratings of the incumbent. Why would you think that the approval ratings of the incumbent is not a damning indication that Biden is getting clobbered in the upcoming election? No president has ever won. No incumbent has ever won with 30% approval rating their re-election. Also, what do you think an approval rating is? If you were saying polls are wrong, you're like, polls are wrong, which is why I'm going to show you another poll. It should be a red flag when your pig flips a debate question from one, you have a popular point, to your weakest. I know, it was a red flag. It was a major red flag. Anyway, let's continue.
Jeffries, who convened Sunday's call, did not take a stance. With lawmakers back on the Hill this week, the coming days will be critical. Hello. The president trying to restore confidence, hitting the trail hard this weekend, eager to show voters he has what it takes to beat Donald Trump.
We're on the cusp of getting so much done. I really mean it.
Barnstorming battleground Pennsylvania, the president shaking hands and snapping selfies, rallying his supporters and leaning on allies to beat back concerns from fellow Democrats.
I am about to point to the only person.
That's right. Let's go. Let's put this buffoon. This surely. I'm telling you right now, that's it. This is the guy. He will win this now, okay? They got the ogre out. They busted the ogre out, who can't even form 3 sentences together.
About to point to the only person that's ever kicked Trump's in an election right now.
Don't let anybody talk about your age. You a young whippersnapper.
But even the president's allies are blunt that his interview with George did not put concerns to rest.
What I do think the president needs to decide is, can he put those concerns aside? Can he demonstrate to the American people that what happened on the debate stage was an